CNBC is the stocks open flat as Wall Street struggles for direction. All right, guys, let me get this video up on all the pages real quick, and then we can get started. So let me just finish this up over here. All right. It looks like I can call this trade. There were only 2 trades that I saw this morning, guys. And I'll go over that shortly when we get started. So I've marked up right here, but I'll discuss them shortly. So let me just get these videos up real quick and then we can get started. Or if I'm plugging the mic, let me fix this real quick. Okay, let me go ahead and send out this link real quick, guys, and then we can get started with the session. Copy that. Sort groups. Post it on our social media real quick. We can get started. Then one last place, I got to post it on the last place I got to post it is on the Instagram real quick. So let me get this sent out right here. Post it on the Instagram, and then we can get started. So let me screenshot this. What's going on? This thing's taking forever to load. Let me zoom out from this point. Yeah, Telegram is like really slow right now. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. Screenshot that. Copy the link. Yeah, so good thing I didn't call this trade. I had a feeling this was going to happen, this reversal. That's why I skipped it. Odd CAD, I was going to call that too, but it was kind of close. Odd CHF right here is the only one that's looking pretty decent. So let me just post up the link for this real quick. All right, swipe up. And they always change the swipe up button. All right, so we got that there. Just the link right there. All right, so it's currently posting on the Instagram right now. Let me go ahead and check the YouTube chat real quick. 13. All right, so I think we're good. Let's see who else is here. All right, cool. So let me go through the chat real quick, guys. Hey, morning, Byron. Morning, Peter. Morning, Andrea. Morning, Karen. Morning, Alkin. Morning, Greg. Morning, Kurt. Morning, Alan. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Jade. Morning, Billy. Morning, Varun. Morning, Nicole. Morning, John. Morning, Kendra. Morning, Josh. Morning, Ikizi. Morning, Flynn. Morning, Wave. Morning, Hope. Morning, Eric. Morning, Razul. Morning, Victor. Morning, Brighton. Morning, everybody. Let's see what Billy said here. Billy said, first things first, curious, any idea how this impeachment vote would affect US 30? Lord knows what statements Trump's going to pull out. So that's what happened yesterday. Billy, you know what happened with our US 30 here? Like it was moving pretty nicely and then it just like spiked down, after Trump had that statement that he made yesterday. I think on CNBC, he said something. I mean, there's a lot of issues going on. Like we got Pence over here. He's refusing to invoke the 25th Amendment. I mean, there's just, YouTube suspends Trump's account. There's just a lot of stuff that's going on in the world that's affecting the market. But I mean, if you guys are familiar with, the position that we took yesterday with US 30, it literally spiked to stop loss, but then it went straight back up. So, obviously, that spike down was after Trump said, I think he made a statement saying that, if they impeach him, it's gonna look bad for the U.S. So what happened was he said that we were in profit, and then when he said that, it spiked down super sharply. It spiked down like right here, and then you see this huge wick right here. It shot way back up, so it went all the way from down here, and then it corrected all the way back up for like 3,000 pips. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's affecting the market. Obviously, Trump's statement yesterday fucked up our position, unfortunately, and it's currently back in profit. But just right now, so you can see CNBC said that stocks opened flat as Wall Street struggles for direction, because the thing with the market right now is a lot of people don't know, what direction it's going to go. So it's basically just going sideways at this point until direction has been set. So it's basically it's going sideways, and as soon as we get the signal in the proper direction, then obviously we would take the position. But it's going to affect the market regardless. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more impeachment updates today. If Biden refuses to work with the Democrats to remove Trump, it's just gonna be a flat market for the most part. It's not really going to be going one direction or the other. So I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this happens, because I'm not sure if there's going to be news that happens during our US 30 position. But if there is something that does happen, Billy, then I definitely see it, affecting the position again. Obviously, like how it affected it yesterday over here. We could have. There's no way we could have predicted this was going to happen, because we were in profit already, pretty heavy. Like we were in profit, and it looked like it was going to continue pushing up. Right? We were watching it. We're like, oh yeah, nice. It established a low right here. And then it was like a strong bullish move. It pushed up so strong that we're like, all right, it's going to continue up further. And it did until Trump, whatever, said he was going to, let me see if I could find the article, because I did show you guys yesterday. Registers Trump. Yeah, I don't know where it was yesterday, but I know yesterday I showed you guys during the live that he said that it was going to undermine like the U.S. government. Yeah, like right here. Like he said this, and immediately when he said this, he said Trump warns impeachment is a tremendous danger to the U.S., doesn't take responsibility for capital right. When he said this, that's when price started dropping. So right here we were in profit, and then all of a sudden it just went straight down, and then right after that it corrected all the way back up, right? So I mean, regardless as to what happens with the impeachment, it's going to affect the market one way or the other. But right now, even CNBC confirmed that the market's having trouble finding direction. So like right here, if you look at this, where was it at? If you look at this here, it just said that, stocks open flat as Wall Street struggles for direction, which directly correlates with US 30, because obviously US 30 is the top 30 stock index for the US. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, we will continue to look forward with anything else from here. So let me see if there's any other questions before we get started. Morning, Victor. Morning, Razul. Eric said, news is so tempting to trade, but I tend to stay out. Yeah, same here. I usually try to as well. Hey, morning, Tra. Morning, Brian. Morning, Vishnu. Morning, Buciso. Morning, Dennis. Morning, Patricia. And that's it. So I think that's it for everybody. Let me go down the chat over here real quick and see if there's anything else that I missed before we continue on. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone's questions. But yeah, Eric, I agree with your response to how you mentioned that news is tempting to trade, but you tend to stay out. I stay out too because it's just not worth the risk, because you never really know what direction price is going to go. The thing with the impeachment news is that it can come at any time. There's no like set time for. Sorry, I got this freaking light here, and I kicked it on accident. It's gonna fall on my computer. Let me fix it real quick. I got this little ring light thing, and I kicked it, and it was gonna fall on my freaking iMac. So it freaked me out. All right, so sorry, I just fixed that real quick. Like I mentioned with the news, the impeachment news is not something that we could really predict. Like Trump said this, but we weren't sure if that was gonna affect the market in a good way or a bad way. I mean, obviously a bad way, because he mentioned that it's going to be, tremendous danger to the U.S. and that spiked U.S. 30 down. But other news like Pence refusing to invoke the 25th Amendment and work with the Democrats, like we're not sure how that's going to affect the market. That can affect it good or bad. And same with like YouTube here, suspending Trump. It's really it's a mixed bag depending on which direction it would go. So that's why I personally don't like to trade news, but I'm still going to trade US 30, even like with this stuff going on, because this just creates volatility in the market. And if it does push it, in our direction, it's always, obviously it's going to benefit us. So I'm going to set my alerts up right here, and then we'll see if like this ends up dropping. I think this might end up dropping. And if that happens, as long as it closes below this point right here, and we should be good, right? Because if we're applying the new strategy, basically whenever price closes below the previous signal, it generally continues to push in that direction for X amount of time off the opening candle. So this is the opening candle right here, 6:30. Normally the opening candle is like pretty manipulated, but obviously this one right here, it's pretty regular, because there's just no direction that's been set for US 30. So let me go down the chat again real quick and see if there's anything else that we're missing before we continue on. Patricia said it's going to be very unpredictable, and profits take your profits. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Patricia. So like in this case, if we do take this position, make sure to move your stop loss and profit once you reach TP1. Don't like hold on to it, because you never really know what's going to happen. Honestly, like you don't know if it's going to be in profit. Like if we take for example, we take a buy here, you don't know how long it's going to go up before something happens and it pushes price in the opposite direction. Vice versa, if we take a sell position here, we don't know how long it's going to come down until it spikes right back up, right? So like for yesterday, if you took, we took that buy position, but if you were to chase like that little drop that happened yesterday, where was it? Like right here. So we took a buy here, but if you took that drop, like if you fell for this spike down right here, if you fell for this and then you entered a sell, you would have gone stopped out either way, because you would have, shot right back up. So I recommend don't revenge trade today. Like if you do get stopped out at any positions, just let it be and continue on with your positions. Same with our Forex trades over here. We hit stop loss for Euro USD because there was news last night as well. Right here, obviously the news happened and went straight down. But everything else hit TP. Obviously, like for these AUD pairs right here, they all look bullish, right? Like we thought all the AUD pairs were going to be bullish for the day. Like for example here, odd USD, we're like, all right, cool, it's going to be bullish. We went to GBP USD, like, all right, it's going to be bullish, because they just all look bullish, right? So you would have thought that EU is going to be bullish as well. Or is it EU is going to be bullish as well, because obviously it was bullish right here. From this point, looked like it was going to continue up further, but unfortunately it ended up spiking down because I guess there was US news in the morning. Let's see. Yeah, so this morning there was US news, and on top of that there was also a lot of this impeachment news that was going on as well, where Pence was refusing to work with the Democrats. So I mean it's like it's a mixed bag, guys. Like we're not really sure how price is going to move. Unfortunately this hit our stop loss, but fortunately our GCAD over here hit full TP for 70 pips, so that covered the loss. because our EU here was only about 50 pips loss. GCAD over here was a 70 pip win, and then GN over here was a 65 pip win. So we had 2 wins last night, and just 1 loss with EU. So one of these trades covered the EU loss, and then the other trade gave full TP for coverage for both of the positions. So we're technically still in profit for the day if you count those 3 positions that we took. I was going to call this odd cat over here. Thankfully, I didn't. It's in some drawdown right now. Market's moving a little weird. And for here, this odd CHF, I was going to call this as well. But, just like I mentioned, these both look like iffy trades because the AUD pairs are overall bullish. You can see that they're pretty bullish for odd CAD. Odd CHF also bullish. Odd JPY bullish as well. Odd NZ, it is still bullish currently. And for odd USD, it's bullish as well. So that's the reason why I don't want to take that sell, because I'm not confident that it's going to push down, all the way to this structure right here. You can see obviously odd CHF is establishing higher highs. So like, for example, here we have the low, we have the high, we have the low right here. And then it looks like it could possibly, continue up further to establish a higher high somewhere above here, and then possibly a higher low right here. And that's why I didn't want to take this position, because it's just a risky position. So that's why we're holding off the market right now. It's just a lot of stuff going on that's affecting the market directly and indirectly, where it just causes uncertainty in the market right now. So there's just no point in taking unnecessary risk when it's not necessary, because we're just not 100% about our trades, and we're only going to take trades if we're 100% about them. So let me continue to go down this list real quick and see if there's anything else that we need to cover. Trell mentioned a lot of top companies were down in pre-market, but now futures is up, hoping for a sell-off for the rest of the week. Yeah, I agree too, Trell. And that's what I'm looking for as well for US 30. With all this uncertainty, I feel like people would sell off US 30 because it's pretty high. But who knows? Looking at US 30 over here, let me zoom out from this point. I'm going to just mark up the all-time high so that we can see how high and how overextended US 30 is, because it is very high and it's very overextended at this point. So just looking at over here at US 30, if we're looking at this from the 1 hour perspective, obviously that's the all-time high. And you can see that it's actually establishing lower lows. So like, for example, here, we have the high right there. We have the low right here, the lower high right there. And then odds are it's probably going to, continue down further from this point. But who knows? I mean, we'll see. The market's weird, guys. Obviously you wouldn't expect the market to be at all-time high during a freaking pandemic, but here we are. There's nothing to really, there's like nothing that could really not happen. That's what I'd like to call it. Like, there's nothing that we can't expect something to not happen, because obviously anything could happen in the market, especially during COVID. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that on the chart right there. Go back to the 10-minute right here. And then you can see that we have a nice rejection off this point. So this is where I would possibly want a sell, because obviously right here we have a, if this rejects off and it's a nice bullish candle and bearish candle, there we go. We have that sell signal. So we have a pending sell signal right now, guys. So we might be taking a sell if this closes. So right here, we have the rejection off this point. Right here, we have a sell signal. If this ends up closing, we can take a short position, in that direction. But I mean, we'll wait and see how this plays out. There's no guarantee this is going to play out like that. But it does look pretty nice. So looking at this right here, even if we were to take this position, our stop loss would be past the previous high, or yeah, the high up here. So, or is that the all-time high? No. Okay, so our stop loss will be pretty far out, where we'll have enough cushion for it to possibly, even if it does push up a little bit, it can still reject off this point and come down pretty heavy. So we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, I'm looking for a sell right now because the previous signal was a buy. And then we'll be waiting for this to play out. But I do have my alert set up. I just got that alert. It's a pending sell alert. So we'll be waiting for this to close in the next 8 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat. I can analyze pretty much any pair for you guys, because we're not looking at anything specific right now. Just due to the current market conditions, we're going to keep watching for trades, but we don't have anything that we're necessarily focusing on at the point. So If you guys have questions, just put them in the chat. Otherwise, our main concern tonight is going to be US 30, obviously. And it looks like it should be a good sell because like right here we have the high, right here we have the low, higher low, lower low, lower high. I mean, sorry, we had the high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then etc. It just keeps dropping down further. Or this could be the lower low, this could be the lower high, and then odds are it's probably going to push down from this point right here. So we'll see how this plays out. But we still have 7 minutes left on this candle. So you guys can see the ticker over here around this side. We got 7 minutes and 45 seconds. When this closes, then we'll possibly be taking this entry right here. So we'll give it some time. Let me check the chat, see if there's anything else that we're missing before we continue. And then we can continue on with this. Let's see. All right, see if there's anything else here. Josh said he wouldn't take responsibility for riots, basically. Yeah, exactly. He was, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he was saying. So we'll see how that plays out when it continues on to that point. Eric said, are we in the odd CHF trade? No, Eric. So I just mentioned earlier that I didn't call this trade because I thought it was a risky trade because all of the AUD pairs are bullish, right? They're all bullish. So I don't want to go against confluence here. If all the AUD pairs are bullish, that's going to indicate that the AUD is strong. So right here, even though this is, a small sell right here, I don't think this is going to continue down that far. And that's why I didn't call this trade because I don't think it's going to continue down. Obviously, it's in a strong uptrend. Odd cat over here, same situation. It's also in a strong uptrend. Odd JPY, strong uptrend. AUD NZD, strong uptrend. AUD USD, strong uptrend. So there's no point in us taking odd CHF because it's not going to, it's not going in the same direction as the rest of the AUD pairs. So I didn't call this trade and we're currently not in it. This is probably something that I'll probably introduce. Well, I mean, you guys see me doing this every day now. So if you guys have been here in the live sessions, you guys see how I identify the confluence among, the correlating pairs. I make sure I look at all of them, make sure they're all moving the same direction before I take the trade. Because, obviously we don't want to get caught in any fake outs like right here. This obviously is a little fake out, came down slightly, and then it's possibly going to swing right back up from this point. So until I have, a bearish confluence among all AUD pairs, I'm not going to take a bearish trade if there's just one that's like slightly bearish while the rest of them are still bullish. So we're on that trade right now, Eric. Wow, look at this drop right here. All right. So I'm ready to take this trade. Let me see. Actually, let me check my FTMO to see if it's I don't know if they reset my FTMO yet because I remember my account from yesterday was not done yet. I mean, they paid me my withdrawal. Why didn't they reset my account yet, man? I still don't. All right. Well, this is annoying. I'm gonna have to speak with FTMO again to like the payout's complete, but my account still has over 100,000 in it, so they haven't reset it yet. I need to message them. I mean, well, that's freaking annoying. It's like I want to trade my other account. Okay, yeah, they haven't reset my account yet. Whatever. So I guess I have to trade on my other two FTMO accounts right now. The other one's on the back burner until I get this figured out. I should have did that yesterday. That was my mistake. I should have messaged FTMO yesterday like, yo, where's my other account at? All right, so that's it for that one right there. Let me keep going down the list over here. I'm gonna make a list for all the questions that you guys have. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll go ahead and take a look at everything that you guys want. So Billy said, I was mad because I was gonna re-enter at that bottom wick, but I didn't want to chase it and it corrected. I know exactly, Billy. I was thinking about hopping back in too because it spiked down. Like, man, this is such a huge spike. Look at this spike right here. The spike yesterday spiked down like 500 pips. So it spiked down, and I was so tempted to re-enter it, but I was like, don't get greedy, right? Because I don't want it to come back down. And then it ends up going up from this point down here all the way up here for like 3,000 pips nearly. See, this would have hit our full T, like we would have made the money back and went straight into profit. Unfortunately, it didn't play out that way because I was just being a little too careful. And it's all right because I just ate that loss, and we made a full win on Monday. So it was literally still either break even or in profit. Dennis said, too much news lately. It's pretty annoying. This whole COVID mess is annoying. I agree 100%. Kendra wants me to take a look at Euro USD. All right, Kendra, I'm going to add you to the list over here. Andrea wants me to take a look at Euro USD. Peter said, in the end, Trump won't be impeached. Yeah, I don't see it happening either, especially now when other people aren't supporting it, especially Pence. Gene Vaughn said, did you call any other trades instead of US 30? Gene Vaughn, yeah, we called. So last time I called GBP CAD, it hit full TP right there. I called GBP NZD, that hit full TP right there as well. So those are the two other trades that I called. Also, Euro USD, it hit stop loss, which is fine. One stop loss there, one full TP right there, another full TP right here as well. And that's pretty much, that's pretty much it for those. So let me see if there's any other questions. We have 2 minutes left on this candle. It doesn't look like it's going to close, guys. It's it's a very indecisive candle. Look at this huge wick right here. So it dropped down super heavy. Let's see, it dropped down like nearly 500 pips, and then it spiked all the way back up right there for a wick of like 300 pips. That's crazy. So market's just all over the place this morning. Let's see if there's anything else here. Dennis said, I might need to make a shorter TP because it seems like as of lately, it's hard to get to 10 pips. All this consolidation, NZD, for example. Yeah, there's a lot of, for me personally, I'm letting my trades run to full TP now for Forex because I'm get tired of like managing the position, right? If I get really close to full TP, I'll exit in manually. But yeah, looking at NZD, like Dennis mentioned, it's barely moving. This pair usually moves a lot. So if you look at last week, it moves like hundreds of pips, right? Yesterday, it only moved about like 30 pips. That's like in 20 hours, like literally in 20 hours. Let me see. Or here, let me see. In about, I'll just go from this point over here. It's 11. So in like 2 whole days, NZD has only moved about 45 pips. This usually moves like 100 pips a day. So, this goes to show how slow the market's moving right now. I feel like the reason for that is because a lot of uncertainty with what's going on in the world, especially with the impeachment, with the new COVID updates, that's causing it to move like either sideways or just move really slow because there's just not enough volatility in the market with people scared to trade with like, all this stuff going on. Morning, Musim. How's it going, bro? Peter said, I paid for the FTMO in December, but it won't start till these political messes end. That's good. That's probably good, Peter, to hold off because right now it's just, market's going crazy. Unfortunately, you didn't do like the first week of January when we hit all those TPs. I think before yesterday's stop loss, we had like 7 or 8 back-to-back full TPs. So that was pretty crazy for us to have such a long win streak for US 30. Hopefully we can bounce back into that. Yesterday, obviously that loss was due to this random spike right here. But hopefully today we'll bounce back with this after we get this. Let me check this real quick. Man, these like Bitcoin scammers are freaking annoying. All right, so let me just delete those two so people aren't confused. Because every time someone posts like a scammy thing on the page, I delete it, and then someone else responds to it, and someone's like, "What are you talking about?" And they don't see it because I've deleted the scam post already. So let me see. That's it for US 30. Let me see if there's anything else here. All right. So Eric wants me to take a look at gold. So Eric, you take a look at gold. Let me see if there's anything else here. Flynn said, with all the crazy Trump news, doesn't make sense for there to be an all-time high on US 30. Let's sell this. I agree, Flynn. Lisa said, LOL, is that the dog scratching in the scratching to get in. My dog is all kinds of interested in the sounds. Yeah, definitely, Lisa. Actually, my dog Kai, he's in my office, but he's like in the corner of my office. He was just trying to make a comfy area for him in the corner. So for whatever reason, he likes to scratch before he lays down. But he's like passed out over there in the corner right now. You guys probably hear him. He's always under my desk scratching, and he's like just looking for an area to chill out while I'm on this live stream with you guys. So we have another question right here by Roland for AUDUSD. So I'm going to go ahead and analyze one pair real quick before we continue on, because we have about 8 minutes on this. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting. First question is going to be your USD for Candra. So let me go ahead and pull up your USD right here. I'll show you guys how I analyze things from obviously from scratch. So I'm going to take everything off the chart, delete that, zoom out from here. We have a naked chart right here, guys. So I'm going to show you my full process in analyzing, anything really. So first, I'm going to turn on the K2SR indicator. I'm going to go ahead and draw my zones on the chart. So draw a zone right there. And this is how I analyze anything and everything, guys. Doesn't matter if it's Forex, indices, gold. You'll see how I analyze gold later. It's the same exact thing. Stocks, anything in general, really. It's the same exact process. And then from there, I will determine, the direction of momentum. So like right here, I draw my zones. And then once you have your zones on the chart, it makes things a whole lot easier because you're able to identify areas of rejection without even really doing any work. So zooming out from this point, once you've done those zones, you can see how perfectly price rejects off these zones, right? Price shoots up, rejects from that zone, rejects from this zone, consolidates, shoots up, consolidates, shoots up, consolidates, shoots up, and then comes back down. So you can see right here, if you guys have these zones on your chart, it makes things a whole lot easier when identifying where the rejection points are. Because obviously if you're taking a sell here, you might want to get out because price can easily like swing up from this point. Vice versa, when price reaches this point and you're in a buy, you might want to get out of that position profit because it's likely to reject off it. So price is currently within this zone right here. I'm going to turn the momentum indicator over here. And looking at this right here, our most recent signal was a sell signal, right? Obviously right here, it looks like it's in a current downtrend. So looking at this point over here, it's currently trending down from that point, right? So looking at your USD over here, we would want price to break this structure below here. And then when it reaches this point right here, it can either continue down further to test this structure. Once this happens right here, price can either reject off it or it can break right through it and continue down further. So this is the sweet spot that we're looking for right here. We don't really want to trade within this area right here because technically, I mean, you could scalp through here if you really wanted to, because like right here, if price breaks structure right here, which, is perfectly fine if it does that. If it breaks structure right here, you can see what happened the last time, right? So this happened right here, same setup right over here, right? So price broke structure, and what did it do? It came down to test this structure down here. And if you took that trade, you could have gained about 30 pips. Same situation right here. If you want to enter a sell position right here, you could gain another 30 pips right there, right? So this would be a nice scalp, but the area I would want to enter at would be down here, right? Because when it breaks structure down here, this is actually a pretty huge move. You enter a short position right here, you could take this all the way down for like 180 pips before it either rejects off this point or it breaks through it and continues down further to the next structure, right? So looking at this right here, I'll show you an example of, when this played out. So in the opposite direction, you can see over here, we had a buy signal, right? We had a buy signal. Price broke structure here. So you could have entered right here, or you could have waited for it to pull back and then entered when it broke structure over here. So this is exactly what I'm just, trying to explain to you guys. So like, for example, right here, I'll show you an example of where it went the opposite way, where we had a rejection off this structure, buy signal, broke structure right there. You could have taken a long position. Let me zoom out from this point. You could have taken a long position right there. and you would have hit full TP for about 150 pips. But it did exactly what I mentioned, right? When it breaks structure like that, it pushes up to the next structure over here where you can catch that huge move. So same situation here. We're just waiting for it to come down the opposite way. So we have the rejection off this point. We have the sell signal right here. We just want it to break structure right here. And then if it breaks this big structure right here, it ends up going down super far. It's the same situation here in the opposite direction. So price broke structure again over here. Just like I mentioned, the small structure right here, it broke the small structure. It took a long time, like over here. And then at this point, once it broke structure again, it ends up pushing to the next structure up here, right? So it just keeps going higher and higher until it reaches the high up here, right? So same situation over here. It's going to keep pushing lower and lower until it ends up pushing down to here, or it just recovers back up. So, trading isn't really that difficult, guys. I mean, it's difficult if you don't know what you're doing, but if you have a game plan, you have a strategy that actually works, it's pretty simple. I mean, it just keeps repeating itself. Like right here, if you wanted to take the trade up here, here's like another example. If you wanted to take this up here, you'd have, the rejection off this point up here. Obviously, you have the rejection right there off that high. You have a sell signal right here, and then you have a break in structure right below it, right there, right? So if you took that trade right there, you could have taken the sell and then wrote it down to the next structure right here, right? So you'd have full TP right there for about 50 pips. It broke structure again right here, and then it just came down further and further. So for your USD right here, I would wait for it to, basically close below this structure, which it looks like it's doing. We have the sell signal here, and it's slowly pushing down further. So if that happens right there, you can take a sell position, write it down to this structure right here. If it breaks structure again, you can take another one and write it down all the way down here. So currently right now we have a sell bias because most recent signal was a sell signal. But until this happens, until it confirms that it breaks and closes below the structure, we won't really have an entry. So we would just have to wait for that, be patient. But once it does happen, we can take the trade. So that's it for your USD right there, Kendra. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to keep going down the chat real quick and check US 30. Wow, look at this spike, guys. US 30 is crazy right now. I don't even know if I want to take it because of how it's moving. Like looking at this right here, this spiked like 500 pips. Looks like we should have had a sell signal right there. But it just looks risky because the last thing you want to do is enter the trade and then it ends up going the other way. And I got to find a way to mount this. Oh, fuck. Shit. Sorry, guys. My lights fell over. I got to find a way to mount this on the screen or something. All right, whatever. Let's leave it as is. I keep kicking it because it's so close to my feet, but whatever. Let's leave it there. 45 seconds. So we got 40 seconds left on this candle, guys. Let's see if it ends up closing. And this light's kind of annoying. Wish I could just mount it to my computer, or actually I could mount it to the desk. All right. Anyways, looking at US 30 right here, we have 30 seconds. I don't think this is going to close with the signal because it's so far off. It might close on the next one, so we'll wait for it. See how this plays out. All right, we got 15 seconds. I don't think it's going to close. It would have to close like way down here for that signal to come back, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to return on the following signal. So candle's going to close right here, no signal, and it did exactly what I mentioned. I said the signal was going to come back up right there, which it did. And we'll just be waiting for that next entry point. Okay, we have breaking news from CNBC. They're saying that the new COVID strain likely originated in the US. So this is going to affect the market, I guess, one way or another. But we'll see. But yeah, see, look at that spike, guys. That's crazy, right? It came down here, spiked from this point, shot all the way up for like 1,000 pips. That's crazy. Like within a few seconds, guys. You guys saw it was way down here, like before the candle closed, and it shot all the way up here about 1,000 pips. So it's US 30 might be a little too risky today, guys. I'll keep watching it. If I see anything good, if I don't, then we're probably just going to skip it for the day because there's really no point in us taking this unnecessary risk for something like US 30 if it ends up not, coming down where we thought it would go. But okay, let me go down to the chat again, see if there's anything else here. Oh, thanks for reminding me, guys. So if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like the stream and I guess follow the YouTube channel, that'll definitely help us continue to grow this channel, and I'll be able to continue coming on here to give you guys free advice every morning. So if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like the stream, that'll definitely help. And I can continue to have these daily live streams for you guys. But okay, so let me continue down with these questions over here. Varun mentioned this trade can fulfill the new strategy requirement, so it can be the right trade. I agree, Varun. So Varun's mentioning the new addition to the K2 US 30 strategy. Basically, what we wanted is we wanted price to close, or the signal to close below this structure right here, which would be the low of the previous signal. This is going to indicate that momentum is swinging downwards, and it's swinging the opposite direction from the buy signal over here. This would indicate that we missed this fake out right here because it slightly went up. This would be considered like a fake out, I guess, to some extent, where it swings up. We ignored this buy signal because it was at structure, and then it swung back down. And then if this sell signal closes below the structure, then we would be able to catch that momentum swing down even further, right? So that's what Varun's mentioning in the chat, and that's exactly what we're waiting for right here. We just need a sell signal to close below there. Once that happens, odds are momentum is probably going to be swinging down pretty heavily. So that's it for this right now. Let me keep going down the list over here and continue on with this even further. Kel said, what makes the 10-minute time frame better than the 15-minute? Kel, because I've done a back test on this 5-10 years, it has a better win rate with regard to the entries. With a 15-minute, since it's a higher time frame, you get a later entry, right? Because for two 15-minute candles, that's 30 minutes. That's 3 10-minute candles. So you can get a signal on the first candle, which you'll miss on a 15-minute candle, which you might not even get till like 30 minutes later. So you'll probably be entering the trade maybe 15 to 20 minutes later than us if we get that first candle on the 10-minute. And that's why we use a 10-minute versus the 15. It's all about back testing, Kel. I don't know if you've back tested much before, but in order to figure out what time frame works best, because obviously each candle is going to be important, then you just have to back test it, years back and determine, what has a higher win rate. Does the 10-minute have a higher win rate? Does the 15-minute have a higher win rate? What has more fake outs? What has more false signals? Stuff like that. But for my testing, the 10-minute was the best time frame to the strategy. So that's why we've been applying it on this specific time frame. Let me continue on further and see if there's anything else. Hey, Cameron, how's it going, bro? Morning. Radomir said, on my FTMO demo, I can't enter US 30. It says disabled. I'm not sure, Radomir. I've never done a demo, or I've never done a trial for FTMO, so I'm not sure why it does that. You can message their support. They're usually pretty quick about it, but I personally don't know exactly why it's been disabled. Byron said, no gold for me today. Varun said, where's that US 30 sell, guys? Yeah, I know it's pending right there. It's still pending. So we're trying to see where that is. US 30 dropping. Yeah, Giovan's dropping right now. Varun said, US 30 is dropping so heavy, man. Sam K said 70% of traders are shorting US 30 according to IG sentiment. So I'll pull up the IG sentiment real quick to see what's going on. Let's see. Right, the IG sentiment right here. Yeah, it's still 70% right here. So it looks, it hasn't really changed much since yesterday. It was like 71% yesterday. And that's pretty much how they're like luring in people. Like right here, they dropped it. It increased to like 74%, I think, yesterday. Then it spiked all the way up. So that's pretty much what happened right there for the sentiment yesterday. So if you guys were in a sell yesterday, and someone entered a short position down here at the very low, not the very low, but at the previous candle, odds are whoever entered that sell right there would have gone stopped out, because it pushed up like 2,000 to 3,000 pips from here. If you got from the way bottom, that'd be about 3,000 pips, but from just the body of the candle, about 2,300 pips. Usually stop losses aren't that wide for someone trading on the shorter time frame. So You know, whoever was short got stopped out, obviously. And they might dump it again. They might dump it temporarily just to lure people in and then spike it all the way up again to like stop everyone out. So that's why moving your stop loss and profits like super important right now, guys, because you guys don't want to get caught in any of these, you know, fake outs and whatnot. But let me go ahead and see what else is going on over here. Eric said looks good on the 4 hour. Gagdiv said, hey, morning Gagdiv, how's it going, bro? Skill Straight said, I don't even know if I want to take today because of how it's moving. I was just thinking the same, Shawn. Yeah, exactly, Skill Straight. It's just normally it doesn't go back and forth like this, right? It's usually directional after the market open. So market open right here at 6:30. Okay, so I guess it's technically somewhat directional. It's just been coming down since then. From this point, it's just been bearish candles, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out because it is moving very weird. I mean, obviously, if you guys have been following US 30 with me every morning, you guys are familiar with how it moves, right? It usually moves in one direction on market open. But currently right now, it's not necessarily moving any direction in general. It's just going sideways. It's like pretty much within these two areas right here. You can probably identify these two as the range. Within these 2 points right here, right? So looking at US 30 right here, it just isn't moving smooth at all. So I mean, we'll see. We'll keep watching it, but I'm not necessarily going to be like, oh, I really need to take this trade today if it doesn't end up appearing, you know, anytime soon. See if there's anything else over here before I continue on further. Yeah, exactly. Flynn said wicks or fake out. So like right here, it wicked down to try to like, you know, lure in these sellers because it was like a huge drop, but then it ended up spiking right back up to stop everyone out. Because like imagine if you entered a short position right here, probably would have gone stopped out. Or even if you enter right here, probably would have gone stopped out as well. So just be careful with it, guys. We're not going to be entering any like dumb trades today. Obviously, we're going to be holding off before entering anything specifically. Like this might reject off it. If it rejects off it, then we'll see how this plays out. You know, otherwise we're just going to keep waiting for it. Hopefully the entry appears sometime soon rather than later. Let's see. Cameron's asking IG sentiment. So Cameron, if you go on IG sentiment, you can see where majority retail traders are because IG is one of the biggest brokers that most people use. So like right here, they're obviously indicating that 70% of people are short. So usually we use IG sentiment for our last confirmation once we have an entry. Like if we're taking a sell position here for US 30, we'll look at IG sentiment to see where everyone's trading because obviously you don't want to trade where everyone else is trading because if you do that, you know, you're probably going to lose because most of the people who are doing the majority, that's the opposite of what the institutions and market makers are doing. They're trying to determine where there's a big bulk of people. If there's 70% of people on one side of the market, the institutions and market makers don't make money from these short sellers profiting, right? They make money when they do the opposite. So if there's a bunch of short sellers, they push price up like it's getting pushed right now to stop all these people out. Because when these people get stopped out, they're going to get kicked out of the position. And then the institutions and the market maker is going to buy back the position at a discount. And that's generally why you see price spike up like it does right here. And then all of a sudden, when you least expect it, it comes crashing right back down, right? Where it was supposed to go. Because that's how the institutions and market makers make money. They make money off the spread and they make money off stop loss hunts where they kick people out of the trade. So it looks like price is way up here. It doesn't look like we're going to have a sell anytime soon, but, you know, we'll continue to watch just in case to see, you know, what goes on from here. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are short right now on US 30. So let me continue down over here again as we continue. Varun said, I think US 30 will give a fake sell signal, then give a valid buy. That's kind of what I was hoping for too, Varun. I was thinking that it can give an invalid sell and then followed by a valid buy so that we can take a buy entry. But I mean, we'll wait and see how this plays out. We're just not really sure how it's going to, you know, continue playing out from this point on because the sentiment's so high for the sell that they might just keep pushing price higher and higher. So what might happen here is it keeps pushing price higher and higher up to this point. So this is where I see it, where this is where I see a lot of stop losses, because a lot of people probably entered a sell when it broke structure down here. So their stop loss is probably up here, right? Above this structure. So what's probably going to happen is price will probably keep pushing up slightly up to there, or even higher. I'll probably push up to there. And then at that point, it'll probably spike right back down. So there's going to be a lot of areas of stop losses. Obviously, stop loss will be above the structure. Some people will have their stop loss above here because this is the swing high. And then again up here for the other swing high. So we might actually see price shoot pretty high, like up to here, to stop everyone out that has their stop losses up here. And then we can see the dump happen right after there once everyone's stopped out. Because obviously you're not going to see people that have their stop losses way up here, right? This is way too high for your stop loss to be. Like no one's going to put their stop loss like 3,000 pips or even 2,000 pips above here. It's just way too far out. So just keep that in mind. I mean, there's a couple things to look out for before we take this trade and before we decide to, decide a direction for this. So let me see if there's anything else here as we continue on. Short Scene says IG sentiment work on Forex pairs. How to look for IG sentiment for, so Short Scene, to look up IG sentiment, you just have to Google IG sentiment. So IG sentiment, whatever you want to look up, Euro USD, you've got it right there. You know, vice versa. If you want like GBP USD, click right there, IG sentiment. And there you go. You have 65% of people short. So that's pretty much how you find the IG sentiment for any specific pair you're looking for. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for that. So Eric, someone gave you a thumbs down. I mean, when you have people giving you thumbs down, you must be doing something right. If you have haters, obviously, because people that want to hate on like other groups, you see, I'm like pretty optimistic. I don't really hate on anybody because I want everyone to have success in trading. But if you have haters in like anything that you do, you're obviously doing something right, because someone's like envious of you, right? They're jealous of you. They're jealous of what you got. They're jealous of what you know. So it doesn't really bother me that we get a thumbs down on the video. It happens, And if I got haters, then I guess I'm doing something right. All right, done with my coffee for today. Let me continue on with this further. All right, cool. So we got James over here who wants GA and EN. So we got James over here. James with GBP AUD and Euro NZD. All right, so we have one pair over here for Eric who wants me to take a look at gold. Let me go ahead and take a look at gold over here. Let's see what we're doing over here. So we're looking at gold. Let me go through the chat real quick. Yeah, CT said at least he voted. Cameron said it's not retail versus retail, it's retail versus institution. Yeah, what do you mean by that, Cameron? Obviously, if we're looking at this here, it shows what the retail traders are trading, right? So I'm not sure if you're confused with what I meant by that, but if there's 65% of people short, why would you trade with the rest of the retail traders if a majority of retail traders fail at trading? The institutions and market makers go the opposite of retail traders. So what we do is we try not to trade in the same direction as everyone else, right? So I'm not sure where you're, because you looks like you're pretty adamant about your response that it's not retail, it's retail versus institutions with like a bunch of exclamation marks. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, Cameron, but I know that that's exactly what I was explaining. That's why I was saying that for US 30 over here, see for US 30, there's 70% of people that are short, right? So I'm just gonna break it down for you, like what I was what I was trying to explain to you. There's 70% of people are short, right? So when people like the retail traders are entering short positions over here, this means that the institutions are pushing price up to stop them out. So we're trading with the institutions. We're not trading with the retail traders. I'm not sure if you got confused with like what I was trying to discuss with the IG sentiment, but that's what I meant. I meant that we're not trying to trade where everyone else is trading because, it's funny. I'm just joking with you, Cameron, but it's funny because I saw like the way you typed it sounded that you were screaming. It's like, it's not retail versus retail. It's retail versus institutions. But yeah, no, I do know that. and we're not trying to trade with the retail. We're trying to trade the opposite of them. So that's why we okay, no, I hear what she means. So Cameron said, I agree with you 100%. It just came out wrong. Yeah, no, it's funny because you put a lot of exclamation marks. So I was kind of thinking in my head, oh, how does Cameron sound when he's saying that? I think he's probably screaming right now. But okay, so that's it for IG sentiment. I'm gonna go over and analyze gold real quick for Eric real quick, because I know Eric asked this early on. So let me go ahead and zoom out from this point, delete that, turn off the momentum indicator, and we have a naked chart right here, guys, right? So I'll analyze this real quick. I'll show you guys how quick you can analyze any pair if you have the K2 indicators. So like right here, I'm gonna draw my zones. I'm just gonna do these really quick. That point. There you go with that. There you go with that as well. So once we do that, we have the zones on the chart. Zoom out from this point, you can see all the rejection points. Turn on the momentum indicator. Looking at this right here, we have a bullish momentum right here, but obviously price is just going sideways. So until price breaks above or breaks below this point, that'll probably set the direction. But obviously it's just, going sideways right here. I probably wouldn't even trade gold until it crosses like way up here, because then you'll have the direction, right? You'll see like whenever price breaks structure heavily, like right here, we had a sell signal and it broke structure right here. You could have taken, a short position right here for full TP. Vice versa right here, we have a buy signal. So I want to wait for it to close maybe above here or above here, so that we can take a long position right there for gold. But currently right now, it's just consolidating, going sideways. So I personally wouldn't trade gold right now. I would probably wait for this to close above here, so you can take a buy position, or above here to take a buy position, vice versa. If we get a sell signal, then I would wait for it to close below here to take that sell, or below here as well. So for example, here, I'll just show you an example of like these entries that I would have taken if, if I was following this specific strategy. So like right here, we have a rejection off this point. We have a sell signal right here. We have a break in structure. When this happens, price generally goes to the next structure right down here. Again, right here, we have another break in structure right here. The sell signal is still there. The sell momentum is still pushing down. What happens from here? It pushes down to the next structure down here. So you can see how simple this is right here. And then using, the current method right here with this momentum swinging up, I'll show you an example of how we do it the opposite way. So like from right here, we have the rejection off this point. We have the buy signal right here. We have the break in structure right here. From this point, it ends up pushing up to this point right here, right? Same situation right here. Rejection off this point. Sell signal. What happens from that point? Pushes to this structure down here. And it just keeps doing the same thing over and over again, guys, right? It's like a storyline. We have a rejection from this point. We have a buy signal right here. We have a break structure right here. What happens from that point? Pushes up to the next structure. So you guys can see what I mean by this right here as well, right? We have the rejection right here. Very simple rejection. We have the buy signal right here. Now we're just waiting for price to close above here, so that we can take that to the next structure up here, right? Just like what happened right here. Price rejection, buy signal, broke structure, pushed up to that point. Rejection, buy signal, pushed up to that point. And then if it pushes again above here, then we can catch that right up even further, right? Same thing that happened right here, guys. Look, it's the same pattern. It just reappears every single time. We have a rejection from this point. We have another rejection from this point. We have a buy signal right here. Price broke structure right there. Long position right there, full TP for about 300, 400 pips, right? So if you guys understand how to draw these structures, you guys have to understand how to identify the rejections, the momentum signals. You can easily ride momentum to the next structure. Super simple. So Eric, I have a bullish, obviously a bullish bias right here, because this signal is a buy signal. But if it does reject off this point, So say, for example, it rejects off this point right here, and then we get a sell signal, right? Look what happens here when you have the rejection from here, sell signal pushes up to the next structure, rejection, sell signal pushes to the structure down here. So this is actually a perfect example for it right here. So like, for example, here, if we get the rejection off this point, rejection, sell signal, ride this down to here, right? So scenario number one is that we have price swing up here. We take that buy entry. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is price rejects off this point. We get a sell signal and then it pushes down to here, right? So there's a couple different scenarios that can play out here for gold. But like I mentioned, I wouldn't enter this trade until price either closes above here, or if it has a sell signal and closes below here, because you don't want to enter a trade before it's fully formed, right? You want to make sure that you're 100% about the trade before you actually enter it, because like the last thing I want for you to enter a trade and then it ends up reversing on you because you entered too early. Like wait for that full confirmation and then you can take the trade from there. So that's it for gold right here. Like I mentioned, it's just consolidating sideways. So I personally wouldn't take this trade just yet. I'd hold off on it for a bit. Here we are back at US 30, guys. So US 30 is still testing the structure right here. We'll see how it ends up playing out. So that's it for gold. See if there's any other questions here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can analyze anything you want. Doesn't matter if it's Forex, indices, commodities, anything really. Because we only have about 3 questions here. We have odd USD for Roland, we have GBP odd for James, and Euro NZD for James as well. So if you guys have any other questions, you guys can put them in the chat, and I can go ahead and take a look. So I'll look at odd USD next. Let me see if there's anything else that we're looking for. Kel's asking, pre-K2SR indicator, how would you normally draw your zones? So Kel, generally, I would usually draw them at the swings. So like, let me just go to a clean chart somewhere. Let me just go to like silver, because I don't trade silver. I already marked it up, but I'm gonna go ahead and mark it up anyways again. So basically, Kel, like before I created the K2SR indicator, obviously that, would help with these zones. Where I would generally mark my zones would be at the swings. So like right here, we have a swing high. Right here, we have another swing high. This would be the very, very basic way to draw, specific zones. And if they link up like that, if they like connect with the other one, I would just connect them to like that. If this goes farther down, you can drop it further. So this is where it becomes subjective, right? Because you can have like one zone right here. You could technically have 2 zones right here, or you can just connect these right here. So your zones, if you draw these manually, they're never going to be perfect because you don't have the computer that's actually generating the zones for you. Obviously the K2SR indicator draws up perfect zones for us every single time. But looking at this right here, I mean, there's a lot of different areas you can put zones, because if you zoom out farther, there's actually more areas to draw your zone. There's like one right there. There's like one right here, and then they connect also with this one right here. And the problem with this is that it connects with so many other ones over here, right? It connects with this one, it connects with this one. So where's your zone going to be? You could connect your zone down here, or you can connect it way down here, or you can connect it even way down here. So this is how you could, basically draw your own zones if you don't have the K2SR indicator, but it's never going to be accurate. It's not going to be 100%, because if I turn on the K2SR over here, they're pretty on point, but they're not 100%, right? Like this over here wouldn't be a zone because there's no zone up there, but I drew one there. For example, down here, there's no zone right here, but I drew a zone right there as well. This actually would connect to something over here or something down here. But you get the gist of it, right, Kel? It's pretty simple. But obviously, I'd always recommend to use the K2SR indicator, because you want to have zones that are on point. You don't want to draw bad zones or incorrect zones and then end up missing a trade because you were off by like a few pips or something like that. So that's pretty much it for that. Let me continue on with the questions real quick before we continue further. All right, CT said DXY may find price bid for a bit, but generally bearish. Gold needs DXY to fall to rise. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, following basic fundamentals like CT mentioned, if you're following the dollar index, oh, sorry, DXY. So if you're following the dollar index over here, this, obviously it's in a strong, it's trending down right now, right? So if the DXY is heading down, this is going to indicate that gold is likely going to continue up. So if this continues pushing down, this is going to indicate that gold is going to continue pushing up, because the dollar index is going to provide, the strength of the dollar. So if the dollar is weak, it's going to indicate that gold is going to go up. Because if you guys are familiar with how price moves, whenever price is moving up, that indicates that the first currency is stronger than the second currency. You can kind of see it as like a seesaw, like what Flynn mentioned yesterday, I think, where basically when price is going up, that means that the first currency is gaining strength and it's getting heavier, right? Because it's worth more. So when it goes up, gold's stronger. When it's heading down, that means that the US dollar is stronger. But looking at the DXY, which is the dollar index, if that indicates that it's weak, then odds are this is probably going to continue up further, right? So that's how I would identify that more specifically. So just keep that in mind, guys, if you guys are analyzing gold, from that perspective. There's a lot of different confluences that you can use with regard to identifying any specific pair that you're trading, whether it be gold paired with other assets or just looking at, the US dollar in general. So that's about it for that one. Let me just see if there's any other questions before we continue pushing forward, and then we can continue on with these analyses. So let's see. Ninja Gaming said, "You dog." What? Skill Straight said, "I'll log in with one of my other accounts and cancel out the downvote." It's all good, Shawn. Woe to you if all men speak well of you. Exactly, Skill Straight. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if people like downvote the video, there's always going to be haters. Like I mentioned, if people are hating on this, obviously, if people are hating on the video, then I'm obviously doing something right, because someone over here is just envious or they're just jealous of like what we got here at K2. So it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter if you guys want to upvote it, downvote it. I'm still making my profit. So it makes no difference to me whether you guys upvote it or downvote it. As long as you guys vote, it's all good. Don't matter to me. Let's see what else we got over here before we continue on forward. Hey, what's up, David? You back? You at work? Oh yeah, Deron Mexico, you're definitely at work. Let me see if there's anything else here real quick. GRR game. YouTube D-hack. I don't know why we're getting like a bunch of random people in the group. They're probably the people that are downloading the video because they don't know what we're talking about. But yeah, whatever. All right, so we got GJ over here for Razul. So Razul wants me to take a look at GJ. All right, cool. Yeah. CT said AU looks ripe, so I'll take a look at that as well. Momo Cryptic wants me to take a look at AUS 200. Skill Straight Set mentioned huge inverted head and shoulders on AU. 1 hour without switching to a line chart, you'll miss it. Looks like a mean bull run is upon us, even though Shawn doesn't like to trade patterns. Yeah, I don't like to trade patterns at all. But if it lines up with my own, if it lines up with my analysis, why not? Varun said finally that US 30 shorting guy is making some profits. Exactly right, Varun. Let me see if there's anything else here. Gene Bond said for regular Forex pairs, what would you recommend the lot size if you're trading $500? So you should use a position size calculator, Gene Bond, because each Forex pair is worth a different amount. So depending on what you, what you're trading, like gold is worth a lot more in comparison to like odd JPY or something like that, right? Like odd USD is going to be worth more than odd JPY. So you should use a position size calculator to determine, what, just look it up real quick. You can go to babypips.com and then just Google like position size calculator. And this is what it looked like right here. So you said you have $500. I mean, obviously it's going to depend on what you're trading. If you're risking 5% and your stop loss is like 100 pips, if you're trading your USD, your lot size is going to be $25, right? I mean, 0.25. 0.025 actually. And if you're trading something else, like say like, I don't know, EN, what's EN price right now? EN price is 1.6944, 1.6944. If you're trading EN, your position size is going to be 1.0148, right? So you use a position size calculator to determine, what your actual position size should be, because it's going to vary by asset. If you're trading Euro USD, you're going to be a 0.25, 0.025. If you're trading something like EG, it's going to be different, 0.148. So you got to be on point with your risk management if you want to have that consistent growth that we talked about recently. I know me and you talked yesterday about, risk management, stuff like that. So you for sure got to have that on point if you want to be consistently profitable and you want to continue to grow your account over time. So it just depends on what you're trading, Gene Vaughn, but you can go ahead and take a look at a position calculator to know for sure. Let me see if there's anything else here real quick. Skillstraight said, "Hey Flynn, don't give Flynn my credit." Oh, my bad. It was Skillstraight that mentioned it yesterday. Let's see if there's anything else here. All right, so Tune wants GBP JPY as well, so I'm gonna add you to that. So I'm gonna look at GBP JPY for Azul and Tune. See if there's anything else here as well. All right, cool. So CT said the Aussie. I'm gonna take a look at that as well. Jonathan said, "Don't worry about the haters. K2 rules. Been following you for a few weeks now. Thank you." Yeah, definitely, Jonathan. I don't really care. If people want to upvote, downvote the video, it doesn't matter to me. I'm still gonna be profiting. They're still gonna be complaining and hating. So it doesn't matter to any of us really here, guys. Like, doesn't matter how many people are gonna be complaining or hating on K2 or hating on our live stream. Like, I come on here to give you guys free advice every day. And if you guys want to hate on free advice, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Your priorities might not be there. So let's see. Cameron wants me to take a look at CHF JPY. And then Cassian wants me to take a look at NASDAQ 100. All right, cool. So I got a huge list here, guys. I'm going to get started. So first off, we got AUD USD for rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off the chart. Take this off. I'm going to do this really quick, guys, because I don't want to waste too much time on these since, we have a ton of questions right now. And I'm going to keep bouncing back between US 30 because I want to see if we have an entry that becomes available right here. So here we go with the naked chart. I'm going to go pretty quick, guys. If you guys get confused, ask more questions. But I'm just going to scan through these and analyze really quickly so you guys can see exactly how I analyze charts, in a quick sense, because in some instances, you guys only have like a few seconds to analyze a chart. Like if you're running late and you need to analyze it really quickly, I'll show you right here how fast you can analyze something from scratch when determining, whether you should take a trade or not, because sometimes you could be off by like a split second and then you miss that trade. So if you get really good at applying these zones, getting good at identifying momentum, you guys will be pretty set, because I have like 30 pairs I look at and I can analyze them all within a few minutes. It doesn't take very long once you're good at this. Once you have that done, take that off, turn on the momentum indicator right here. We have a sell momentum right here. So I'm just going to show you guys real quick. We have the high that established like way over here. So this is where the high started from this point. And then from this point over here, price came down, established a low. And then here's the other swing high right here. So we have a high. We have a sell signal right there. We want price to close below this structure, right? So once price closes below that structure, we can take a short position right here and then ride this down to the next structure over here for about 80 pips. So same situation over here. We had a rejection. We had a sell signal right here. We had price close below the structure right here. And then what happened from that point, it pushed down to this structure right here, right? So same situation like over and over again, guys. Again, right here, we have the rejection from this point. We have the sell signal right here. We just need price to close below the structure. Once it closes below the structure, we can pretty much ride this to this next structure down here. We'll probably have our TP a little closer, maybe about 50 pips. So once that happens right here, and this continues down further to here, then we'll hit full TP before it ends up either rejecting back or breaking through and continuing down further. So just keep that in mind right there, guys. for AUD/USD. But you know, like I mentioned, we have to wait for this to actually close below the structure. Price hasn't closed below the structure yet, so I wouldn't take this sell, because what could happen here is this can easily swing back up, provide for a buy signal, and then end up pushing up to here. So scenario number one is price breaks below the structure and closes. Then we can take a short position right into the zone right here for like about 50 pips from that point. Yeah, about 50 pips. Or price can reject off this point right here. And then as it rejects off this point, provide a buy signal, and we can write it up to here for like about 50 pips as well, right? 60 pips. So there's two ways that we can take AUD/USD, but for right now, we would want to wait for it to either close below here or provide a buy signal and close above here. There's like two different scenarios that can play out, but until then, we're just going to sit tight. So that's pretty much it for AUD/USD right there. Let me see if anything else is here before I continue forward with the next question. Let me check US 30 as well. All right, cool. So, all right, so Citi wants me to take a look at CAD/JPY. I'm gonna add you to the list, Citi. JPY. Cameron said, Ron, how long have you been trading with K2? So Ron's been here for a long time. I think Ron, well, his real name is David. David's been with us since I think early last year, right, David? I think he joined me like last spring, I believe. And yeah, David's been with us ever since. Yeah, April actually. Yeah, I just saw your response right there. Nice. April 2020. So that's almost a full year now. Yeah, it feels like we've been trading together for longer, because I've been talking to Dave like almost every day. You know, me and David are getting our matching cars soon once you both move to Vegas. CT said trend is bullish, dollar is looking bearish, waiting for that green candle. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm looking for too, CT. I think the bearish move would be better, because it looks like it's not going to break right below it. So it's probably going to reject off this point, get a buy signal, and then we could pretty much write it up this way. So scenario number two actually looks better than scenario number one, but I mean, we'll wait and see how this plays out. But that's about it for AUD/USD, guys. Check out US 30 again real quick. We got about a minute left on this candle, so I'm going to wait for this to close before we continue moving forward. But I'll go down the list again right here, see if you guys have your pairs listed on here. If not, put them in the chat, and I can take a look at anything you guys want. So James wants me to take a look at GAEN. Razul and Toon want me to take a look at GJ. Momo Cryptic wants me to take a look at AUS 200. Cameron wants me to take a look at CHF/JPY. Cassian wants me to take a look at NASDAQ 100, and Citi wants me to take a look at CAD/JPY. So if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'll take a look at anything you guys want. Otherwise, I'm going to just wait for this to close in the next minute right here. We have a 1 minute countdown until this candle closes, which may provide for a sell entry for us. So I'm going to wait for this real quick. I'm going to open up this right here just in case. See US 30 sell. All right, so we got this right here. And then I will be waiting for this. Nice. All right, so Ludi over here. Let me just, I'm just gonna show him where he's wrong because we always have people that are questioning, like, certain trades. So yeah, US 30 didn't close right there. I'm just gonna go explain right here. So I'm just like, because Ludi over here mentioned that GN hit stop loss. It didn't. It hit, well, even if you took TP2, it hit TP2 over here, and it never hit stop loss. Obviously, you can see right here from the chart. You know, I didn't edit anything on the chart. If this line points from, so if you see how this dotted line is right here, guys, if this dotted line pointed down here, then it would have hit stop loss. It didn't point down there though, it pointed above here. So that's why it hit TP, it didn't hit stop loss. So, I mean, a lot of people like are using different brokers. So if you want to use the same broker that I've been using for like the past every year, like I'd never recommend that you guys use unregulated brokers. But if you guys use forex.com, which is what I'm using here, you hit full TP, guys. So I don't know if Ludi, if you're in here in the chat or not, but you know, I'm not using your broker. So if it hit your stop loss, then it hit your stop loss. It didn't hit mine. Let me see if there's anything else here. Ludi said, I'm just looking at the chat here. It's funny because whenever I see people talk about like them losing, I'm like, how are they losing? Because if you look at the results over here, so let me pull up the results over here. Ludi mentioned that he's not starting off, well, I mean, maybe it's just a personal move where he's not starting the year off good. But if you look at our results here, I'm actually starting the year off great. I think everyone else is starting the year off great too. So if you look at the year, our trades here for last week, we had 6 wins and 1 loss for Forex right here, right? And then we had 5 wins and 2 losses for indices. So I don't know how anyone could be having a bad year so far. And then if you look at our results over here as well, you know, everyone has individual results. Obviously, I'm not gonna speak for everyone here, but if you look at everyone's results here, I think everyone here is having a great year in K2. So maybe it's just one person that's not doing well, but I mean, you could go here. This is January 12. I'll scroll all the way up to January 1. All of these are everyone's profits from January 12 up until January 1. So I think everyone in K2 is actually having a great year. Obviously, you know, there's going to be a few people that aren't having a good year. They don't have proper risk. They don't know how to trade properly, stuff like that. But for the most part, everyone here is profiting. So I'm not sure how everyone else is doing. Okay, so like Ludi uses like 1 lot size. So that might be it. He's not using proper risk. Oh, that's how it was. Okay, so he said, make sure you use proper risk management, guys. That's how to win from these losses, I hope, in the end. So that's the main thing, guys. If you guys aren't using proper risk, that's probably your mistake. You know, if you use proper risk, you'd be heavily in profit for this year so far. So I think that's about it pretty much. Let me continue on with this over here. Let me go down the chat real quick. So I'm going to skip through the chat and then I'm going to go down the questions. So first we have GA and EN for James. We have GJ for Razul and Toon. We have Aussie 200 for Momo Cryptic. We have CHF JPY for Cameron. We have NASDAQ 100 for Castian. And then we have CAD JPY for Citi. So that's pretty much it over here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at GBP odd over here. And then we will continue on forward with this. So let me see if there's anything else over here before I. Sorry, guys. Aaron just messaged me. I'm trying to see what he's talking about over here. Oh, man, this is why I love K2, guys. See, at K2, we're like a family here, guys. We don't really argue with each other, but Aaron over here is he's talking about these other chats like okay. So like at K2, you know, we usually we work with each other here, guys. We're here to empower everyone and be positive, right? But there's a lot. We've had people in K2 who were in K2 before. They ended up leaving K2, starting their own groups, And there's like all hell breaking loose in everyone else's groups. Like everyone's arguing with each other. Everyone's talking shit to each other. Everyone's just hating each other. And it's just funny because we're over here profiting and, you know, doing what we do. And everyone over there is just like full of drama. So I'm kind of glad those people left K2, because it's just funny seeing all these messages here that Aaron is forwarding me, because I'm not in those groups, obviously. You know, I'm just with K2, and I see all these other people here arguing about stuff. But yeah, enough with that that side convo. I'm gonna go look at GA over here. So good thing I didn't take this buy signal right here. Obviously, it pulled back at that point. Yeah, David, it's funny, man. You know, literally all the people who left K2 because they thought they could do better are like basically all the K2 rejects like went to another group, and then they're just they're arguing with each other because they keep losing trades because obviously they don't have me anymore to help them because they decided to do their own thing, which is fine. You know, I don't mind if you guys leave and do your own thing, but I mean, if you guys start losing, you guys like they're literally like like, let me see if I can probably put this on here real quick. Yeah, sorry guys, I can't let me see if I could probably black out the name over here real quick. Let me save this. I just want to show you guys. It's like pretty funny. Like they're like hella arguing because they keep losing. Let me see if I could just show you guys this quickly. Let me black out the name. Oh fuck, they're hoping it there. Well, you guys saw exactly who it was, but I'm gonna black out his name anyways. But it's just hilarious, guys, because these guys like literally left K2 because they're like, oh, I can do my own thing. I'm like the best trader ever. And then all of a sudden, this happens. Where was the markup button at? Let me black out. Shit. Let me see if I could. Sorry, I just find this really, really funny because these guys literally just left K2 recently. So they're like hella arguing because I guess someone else, like they're giving signals to each other and they're like, yo, call me. Why the fuck are you mentioning me? Talking shit. I didn't have a problem with you, but now I do. And it's just funny because these guys, like they were K2 members before. We were all good. Like everyone was cool with each other. You know, obviously K2, we all keep control here, but they're like in their group going crazy right now. So this is like pretty hilarious because I guess they gave a signal. The signal failed. And then now they're like blaming this guy. Like, you're an idiot. You don't know how to trade, all this stuff. And it's just, I just find it really funny, guys. But yeah, okay, that's it for our little side convo right there. I'm gonna go ahead and analyze GA real quick. So I'll do this really quick, guys. I'm gonna delete everything. I know I've been wasting you guys' time with this Jerry Springer action going on in these other chats, but here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw my zones on the chart for you guys. And then put this over here. And that's the good thing about K2, guys. You know, we're never about drama here. We're here about trading. We're here about making money, you know, like even like for this chat today, like in the live session, we have some people downvote the video, but I don't care. You know, people can downvote, they can upvote. It doesn't make a difference to any of us because we're still going to be profiting regardless. I'm not dealing with any of that nonsense. I'm here to make money. So back at GA over here, I've drawn my zones. I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. Looking at GA right here, it looks like price swung up. I didn't take this trade because it didn't look like a good buy to me. Looking at the other, so the reason for that is because I looked at the other GBV pairs. So like all of these over here are all swinging back down, right? You can see them are all, they came up and they swung down. So that's the reason why I didn't want to take that trade, because I saw that all of these were pulling back right here. So I didn't take that trade for GA right there because obviously it's pulling back down. But I mean, what could happen here is we do have a bullish momentum. So looking at this over here, I'm going to put this down here. We have a nice rejection off this point. And then we have a buy signal right here where it broke structure. So when it broke structure right there, it pushed up from this point to test this structure. And then like I mentioned, whenever it breaks structure again, like it did right there, or right here, actually, you can see it broke structure right here. This would provide for another long position right here for a gain of like 1,000 pips. So for GA right here, I didn't take this buy yet, but we can possibly enter for a late entry. The reason for this is because, like I mentioned, I saw that pullback happening for the other pairs. So I don't want to enter right away. Like I'm waiting for this to possibly, you know, either reject off this point and possibly shoot up from there. And this is probably you know, what's going to happen over here at this point. So pretty much right here, you know, when this swings back up, like you can possibly put a buy stop right here, guys. Who is this for again? Let me see. James. So James, if you want to put a buy stop right here, you can. So technically this position is still open, but the reason why I didn't take it, like I mentioned, is because all the other GBP pairs are all pulling back right now as well. So I know that I give you guys the basic foundation of how to identify these trades, but you also have to look at different confluences with regard to, you know, other GBP pairs or AUD pairs to determine, you know, if things are really pushing that direction. So the GBP pairs are all pulling back. So that's why this is pulling back right here. I would want to look at the AUD pairs to see if they're bullish, because if they're bullish, this is going to indicate that this is probably going to come down even further. So looking at odd CAD over here, overall it's bullish. So that's why I wouldn't want to take that trade. Overall bullish, overall bullish, overall bullish, overall bullish, right? This is the first thing that I've been discussing like almost every day this week, because I said that the AUD is probably going to be bullish all week. And that's one of the main reasons why I wouldn't trade a GA over here for a buy, because if the AUD is bullish, that's going to indicate that price is going to come down at some point, right? Because obviously, all of last month, it was pretty bullish. Like AUD was strong, so it kept pushing down, and then it retraced up slightly, and then now it's coming back down. So currently right now for GBP odd, if you really, really, really want to enter this position, which I don't recommend you do, because there's opposite confluences, right? Like the GBP pairs are going one direction, the AUD pairs are going one direction as well. So I think this is too risky of a trade to, you know, really take at this point. Just due to the fact that all of, you know, all the AUD pairs are going one direction, the GBP pairs are going one direction. So this can easily just bounce back and forth, consolidate sideways before it decides to either skyrocket up or drop down further. My guess is that it might drop down further, because if the AUDs continue to swing back up, you know, just like we analyzed AUD USD over here, if this decides to swing back up along with the rest of the AUD pairs, odds are GA over here is going to continue pushing down further. So I personally wouldn't enter it, but if you really want to enter it, James, then you can enter a buy stop right here. I don't know if you're already in the trade, you might be, but just looking at the other confluences, it's just not something that I really want to, you know, that I necessarily want to enter at this point, because it's just too risky. You know, just wait for it to either swing back up, maybe set an alert at this point if it swings back up, and then possibly put that buy stop there. But I wouldn't put a pending buy stop just sitting there, because we're not sure how long this is going to drop for, right? This is going to actually continue down further. Looking at the other GBP pairs over here. So we hit full TP on GCAD already. I'm going to take that off. And then also right here, this can easily come back down as well. So like for GCAD right here, we hit our full TP, then it can easily come back down. Same with GBP CHF, it's coming down as well. Same with GJ, it's coming down as well. So like for here, this is why I mentioned to you guys yesterday not to take that buy yet, right? I said wait for it to close above here and then take that buy. If you guys followed my advice, good thing you didn't take it right there, because it's pulling back right now, just like I mentioned. So all of the GBP pairs do not look so great right now. So it's not something that I would recommend you guys take. Like our GN over here hit full TP, obviously, for like 65 pips, and then it came back down. So I'd hold off on GA right now before taking anything, because they're all coming down right now. So I wouldn't take it until it swings back up and confirms that confluence that price is going that direction. So let me see what's going on from this point for US 30. So US 30 is starting to drop back down again. We'll see if we get that sell signal, then we can take it. Otherwise, other than that, probably hold off on taking that trade, James, if you haven't already. Let me check real quick the chat to see what's going on over here. So let me see what else is over here. Luciano is asking, are you in any position? So Luciano, we're currently out of our positions right now. We hit full TP for GC already. We hit our full TP there. We hit our full TP for GN. Looking back at the results over here. So looking back at our trades for today, we hit our full TP for GCAD right there. We also hit full TP over here for GN as well. So we hit our full TPs for those. We're out of all of our trades currently. We're right now looking for US 30 to enter, but we're just waiting for that to play out. So currently right here, we have 3 minutes left on the clock. It might be a risky trade, but we'll see. We might take it. Other than that, I think that's about it for the most part. So that's it for GA over here. James said, I was in GA, get the fuck out. Oh man. So hopefully you're not in too much drawdown, James, because I don't know if it's gonna swing back up. So there's a couple scenarios that can play out here, right? So this can either come down, reject off this point, and swing right back up, which could possibly happen. But looking at the other GBP pairs, this is one thing that you should probably look at, the confluences. If they're all going down, then it's probably like something that you should probably avoid, because if they're all coming down, this means that something's going on with the GBP. Like something's going on that's making the GBP weak. If I look at the news over here, let's see if there's anything causing that to drop. Pandemic news, crude oil. I don't really see anything here specific regarding GBP, but I know the whole Brexit thing was like kind of throwing it off for the past couple of weeks. But yeah, me personally, I don't really see anything here regarding GBP specifically. So I'm not sure what's causing that drop right now. There's no news that's set up right now for this morning. Everything already passed. So it's just an unusual drop for the GBP pairs. So hopefully this swings up, because you said you're in that buy or you're in that position, James. So hopefully it swings up from this point and then it ends up hitting your TP at, some extent, because obviously I want you to definitely want you to make some profit, or at least get out around break even. So, all right, that's it for GA over there. Let me take a look at the next pair. We have one more for James for EN. And then let me see if there's anything else here as we continue to move forward. Cameron said, I'm actually dying laughing right now. Brandon said the Jerry Springer. Skillstraight said, I try to never burn your bridges, even when you're in the right. Yeah, exactly. Dilraj wants me to take a look at EuroCAD. Hey, Dilraj, haven't seen you in a while. Let me see. So Dilraj wants me to take a look at EuroCAD. Let's see. CC said, may the bridges I burn light my way. Just kidding. Yeah, exactly, bro. Let me see if there's anything else here as we continue further. Dilraj, CC. Vishnu said, honestly, Shawn, we could just follow all your signals, but I'm pretty sure you want us all to learn honestly, Shawn, we could just follow all your signals, but I'm pretty sure you want all of us to learn them for ourselves. Yeah, exactly, Vishnu. So you guys are welcome to copy my trades, but long-term wise, I obviously want to teach you guys how to trade. I want you guys to understand what I'm doing, what strategies I'm applying. That's why I go on live every day, to call these signals for you guys live, so that you guys can see exactly, what I'm doing, why I'm taking these trades, and whatnot. So I'm going to cut you off right there for 1 second. We have US 30 right here ready to be taken. So I'm going to get this ready on my phone real quick. So we got 8 seconds left, guys. If you guys want to enter this trade, feel free. I'm going to enter it on mine. We got 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm in the trade. So I'm in the trade for a sell, guys. If you guys want to enter, currently in profit, let me go ahead and send this out right here to the group. So I'm currently in the trade already, guys. If you guys want to take it. Sorry to cut you guys off. I just saw that it was going to come down real quick. So I'm in the trade. If you guys want to enter it, feel free. Let's change this up right here. All right, I'm in profit. Send this out right there. Entry was 30932. 30932. I'm going to give you guys the parameters real quick, and we can get on with our day. So this is pretty much all we were waiting for this morning. You know, once we take this trade, we're pretty much good. I can focus on answering your guys' questions. So I'm in profit slightly. Sorry guys, I keep like my neighbor's doing something weird outside. I'm like wondering what they're doing. They're probably looking at me right now because I have I think I told you guys I have this new ring light right here. That's why my face is kind of brighter. So they're probably looking at my light like, what the hell is he doing over there? They're probably confused that I have this ring light on me. All right, so we're good right there. We have the yeah, everything's good. So let me send this over to the chat real quick. Nice. Uncle locked in some nice profits over here. So Uncle said, thanks to K2 and all the wonderful people, I'm trying to be more confident, definitely. So we let his trades run. Look at that. Wow, some nice profits off UK and US 30, 1,359. Congrats, Uncle. And this is what I mean, guys. You know, in K2, we're here like to empower everyone to be great traders. You know, we're not here like we always see people like in other groups over there complaining and just arguing. You know, like I'm sure you guys have been in other groups where you just see people complaining and arguing all day. It's like, dude, we're here to make money and trade. Like, I don't understand why everyone's just so upset or so always complaining. I mean, I could understand if you guys keep losing trades. Yeah, I'd be upset too. But we don't usually lose that much here at K2, so it's not really a problem for us here, obviously. But yeah, I'm definitely glad that we don't have that going on in our community. And honestly, if that was to happen in our community, I wouldn't let it happen anyways. I'd boot those people right away because we're, you know, obviously we're here to make money. We're not here to argue, complain, do any of that stuff. I'm here to make some profits, guys. So if you guys are in K2, you know, you guys don't have to worry about that because we're never gonna have to really deal with that in the chat anyways. I'm pretty active in the chat, so if anything like that ever pops off, you know, I'm there to control it. So here we go. We're in profit. Oh, look at that. Nice. Come on, let's go. I'm in profit about 500 bucks right now. But it keeps moving around. So let me just set up my TP stop loss and then we can move forward and go for this. Stop loss is 30,782. Oh no, sorry, that's 30,100 or 31,082. And then our TP is going to be 30,782. Nice. All right, cool. So I'm in profit about 500 bucks on two of my FTMO accounts. My third one is still it's still under maintenance. I don't know what's going on. They paid me out like yesterday. I think I showed you guys. Let me see if I could find it here. So yeah, I don't know if I could find it here, but they paid me out yesterday. And then, yeah. So I got paid out on the 11th, actually, 3,527. This is my withdrawal from my FTMO on one of my accounts. It's been 2 days now. They haven't reset my account back to 100K. So I can't trade on it yet, but you know, I made my profit on there. That's not bad, guys. Like, so if you think about it, if you make this much profit, or I guess like 4,000, or because I have 3 accounts. So if you make even just 3,527, and this is very conservative. This was during December, so I wasn't really trading very much. And we had a couple losses. So that's why the payout was like low. I only took a small amount out. So if you do that times 3, that's like 10,581 a month, you know, because I have 3 accounts. You multiply it by 12, you know, I'm making like on the side, just like 100,000, 126,000 from just FTMO. So I have that plus my personal accounts, and it's not bad, guys. Like, you know, a lot of people complain about FTMO. They say that it's not worth it, but I mean, this is pretty worth it to me. If I'm just taking US 30 trades once a day on that account, I'm like locking in consistent profits. And then this is just extra money for me, right? So just goes to show that, you know, it just depends on how you perceive FTMO or how you perceive trading at all. Because for some people, you know, it can be a blessing. For some people, they could hate it because they can't pass FTMO. So I guess that's about it. So let me check the chat again real quick to see if there's anything else that we need to discuss before I continue, you know, moving forward from here. So Vishnu said, in the future, we definitely would be able to call our own trades using K2 indicators and strategies. Definitely 100%. ComCon wants me to take a look at Euro NZD. So I have Euro NZD coming up next for James. I'll add you to that list too, ComCon. So I'm going to continue on with this list here. Cassian wants me to take a look at NASDAQ, and you want me to look at it as well. Super Sam. So I'm going to take a look for both of you guys. Flynn said US 30 dropping like it's hot. Sorry, we have a lot of questions here. So I'm going to go through this really quick. City said thoughts on your lower zone for US 30. Let me check. So the lower zone for US 30 is going to be right where price currently is. But like I mentioned, like every time before, guys, these zones aren't really that important, because if there's momentum pushing price down, US 30 doesn't necessarily respect these technicals that much. So I'm not too worried if it's out of zone right now, because it'll probably just break right through it. So like, check that out right there. It broke right through it. It's probably going to continue dropping even further. So we'll see how this plays out. But, you know, I'm currently in profit. Looks good so far. Not too worried. And that's about it for now. All right, so we're done with US 30. Let me continue on further with these questions. Peter said, when Shawn says it might be a risky trade and you decide to take it, use a lower lot size just to be on the safe side. 100%. Good advice on that one, Peter. Varun said, Shawn, can you put a detailed message about explaining the FTMO's today's permitted loss and daily loss so that everyone can read it once and stop asking how much they can risk on the same day? So yeah, guys, I mean, specifically for FTMO, I mean, depending on which account size you're using, there's always going to be a set loss, guys. Like it never changes. Like, I don't understand why people always get confused with it. I mean, I could understand why it's confusing the first time, but I've explained it a lot of times where it shouldn't really be that confusing anymore. But here, let me just pull it over here. So depending on which account you guys are using, if I go to this down here, obviously I'm trading 100K, right? So I can risk 5,000 a day. Here's the thing. The day resets at midnight CES time. So if you guys are carrying that trade over, your losses are going to stack. That's why I only take one trade a day. I take the US 30 trade daily, and that's all I take, so that I can make my profit and then it resets the next day. If you guys want to trade all throughout the day, your daily loss is going to stack if you don't close your positions before the next day. So your max daily loss is 5,000. You should never reach that. You should always be below it. Like, there's no reason why you should be risking this much, like more than this per day. If you have a 100K account, there's no reason for you, because you're basically risking this much to make X amount of money. In reality, you just need to make some profit. Don't go for those home run wins, and don't go for over leveraging at all. Just because you have a big account doesn't mean that, you know, risk management goes out the window. You guys still have to manage your risk properly in order to continue maintaining your account for FTMO. So basically for FTMO, this is how much you could lose per day. And then your maximum loss is negative 10,000. So if you have $100,000 account, your equity could never go below 90,000. That's going to be the basics of your maximum loss. But yeah, Varun, I'll try to make it more detailed explanation in the chat so you guys can reread it over and over again. But it's really simple. Like, a lot of people want to overcomplicate it, but in reality, it's really simple. Just don't lose more than 5,000 a day. You should never get close to that point anyways. You should only be losing like about 3,000 max by risking 3% max, or even 1% per day. And then your max loss is just 10,000 equity. So that's it. That's it for FTMO. I'm not going to go too much in detail for FTMO until later if you guys have more questions. But I mean, for now, we're going to continue on with the analysis over here. So Super Sam wants me to take a look at Bitcoin as well. So let me go look at Super Sam. Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Let me see if there's anything else here real quick. So Varun said US 30. Delraj said, yeah, I've been busy online school during lockdown. Oh, I see, Delraj, definitely, yeah. Everyone's gotten a little busier with this as well. MD is asking, okay, you want to know your story. Like, how did you start trading? How you start developing your strategies? I'll get back to your question later, MD, because I have a lot of other questions here. But don't worry, I'll tell you this, or I'll just tell you real quick. So basically, 10 years ago, I started trading when I was in college. I traded stocks. I went to options. From there, I had to get a normal job. When you get a normal job, you can't trade during normal hours, right? So at that point, I moved on to Forex. I went to law school. I was trading Forex throughout law school, helped me pay for a lot of stuff. And then after law school, I became an attorney. Obviously, I was an attorney for like a couple of years. From that point, I just hated my job. You know, it's a grind, guys. I was working like 12-hour days. That was about it. And last year I was like, I had it. So at that point I quit my job, became a full-time trader. And then here we are with K2. So that's my story in a nutshell. Basically I lived a normal life. I still live a normal life. I'm just like you guys, I just make profit from trading. I'm no different from any of you guys. That's why I'm here helping you guys, because I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm on the same level as all you guys, and we're all here for the same goal of trading. And the reason why, like, a lot of people ask me, why did I start doing this and why I started K2 is because when I first started trading, I didn't have any money. I couldn't pay for a course. I couldn't pay for a mentor. So I learned everything on my own, just Googling and YouTubing strategies about trading. So, over my 10 years of trading, I was able to figure out what was good and what was bad. And from that point, I was able to develop my own strategies and create my own indicators, depending on what I was looking for specifically. So that's my story in a nutshell for all you guys that are new here. Everyone that's been in K2 knows my story. I'm just a normal guy, just like you guys. I live a normal life. I live here with my dog at my office here at my home. And it's pretty much it. So maybe I'll give you guys a more detailed story about how everything played out, because obviously there's more details to like why I became a trader, why I quit my job as an attorney, because it did pay well. Obviously attorneys get paid pretty nicely. It was just stress, guys. It was more about work-life balance. And, I enjoy trading. Trading is like my passion and like what I like to do. So that's why I decided to put my law on the side and become a full-time trader. So that's my story in a nutshell. But like maybe a little later, I could give you guys a more detailed story about how, I came about and stuff like that. But for now, we have a ton of questions, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. MD, I'll probably answer your question at some other time. I know you've been in the chat for a while, so, maybe I'll give it to you at a different time. David said, like the damn stream. So if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like the stream, that'd be great. Other than that, I'm going to start answering these questions because I do see, outside discussions going on over there in the chat. So I'm going to go through and analyze the next pair for James and ComCon. He wants me to look at Euro NZD. So I'm going to pull up Euro NZD right here. And I'm going to zoom out from this point. So I'm going to zoom out, delete everything off the chart, turn that off, turn this on, and then draw my zones on the chart. So you guys can see I use the same exact analysis for everything. Doesn't matter if it's Forex, US 30, Bitcoin, futures, commodities, doesn't matter. I just draw my zones out first so I can identify these rejection points. And then we will continue further with this. So here's Euro NZD. Draw that up right there. And there we go. We look good from this point. All right. So James, I think you're in Euro NZD right now, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hide that right there. Zoom out from this point. You guys can see that we have all of these nice rejection points drawn on the chart for us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the momentum indicator. Looks like we have a sell momentum over here. So I'll just show you guys exactly what I was looking for here. We had a nice rejection off this point. We had a sell signal down here and a break in structure, right? So at this point right here, you could have taken a short position. I'm sure this is probably what you took, right, James? So right there from that point for about 65 pips, I assume. So if you took this trade right here, James, I'm assuming you're still in the trade, right? Unless you moved your stop loss and profit once it reached TP right here and got out of the trade. So depending on on your position right here, I'm not sure if you're still in the trade. James, you might be. Let me see, check the chat real quick, because I know you mentioned that you were taking it, but I'm not sure if you're still in it. So James, if you're still in the position, looks like it's coming right back down, back in profit. If you didn't exit or didn't profit, but with the way the market's moving right now, I highly recommend that you follow the exit strategy, because at this point right here, you probably could have gotten out already in profit for about 32 pips. So if you got out at 32 pips, you'd be pretty nice, with this position right here. You probably could have made another re-entry at this point again as well. But yeah, just looking at this position right here, it just looks a little messy, but it does look like it's coming back down. So like I mentioned before, after I look at Euro NZD like this, I'm going to go ahead and look at the correlating pairs. So I'm going to look at Euro AUD, it's bearish, right? Euro CAD, it's bearish. Euro CHF, it's bearish. EG, it's bearish, but it just swung back up right here. EJ, it's bearish. EN, it's bearish. And EU, it's bearish as well. So for EN right here, this looks completely fine. I think it's going to continue pushing down further. But you know, like I mentioned, Euro NZD is just, I mean, just the market in general is just moving very unusually today. So when it does move in profit, I would definitely move your stop loss in profit once it reaches TP, just in case. But if you're selling the position, it looks like it's completely fine right now. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, as soon as you make it back in profit, James, make sure to slide your stop loss in profit, possibly once it reaches, you know, either 25% in profit or 50% in profit, because you don't want to get caught in any of these unusual movements in the market for the day. So that's it for Euro NZD. I'm going to try to skim through these real quick because we do have a ton of questions here. Next up, I have GJ for Azul and Tune. Next after that, we have Aussie 200 for Momo Cryptic. We have CHF-JPY for Cameron. We have NASDAQ 100 for Super Sam and Cassian. We have CAD-JPY for Citi, EuroCAD for Dilraj, and Bitcoin for Super Sam. So that's pretty much it for this right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at GJ next. So I'm going to zoom through these really quickly, guys. If you guys have more questions regarding this, feel free to ask. But I'm going to try to zoom through these quickly because we do have a lot of questions. I want to make sure everyone's questions get answered before we get off today. Not that I'm leaving any time early, but I want to make sure that we are able to knock out every question that's asked today. And I want to make sure no one's left behind. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And then I'll analyze anything for you as we move forward. So I can add you guys to the list. But currently right now, we're going to be analyzing GJ right here. So looking at GJ, I've drawn my zones right there. Turn that off. And you guys can see how nicely these zones have been drawn for this current price area for GJ. One problem is we don't have a higher zone right here, right? We only have these lower zones. In order to get this higher zone, we're going to go on the higher time frame, the 8-hour, nothing there. Go on the daily. And there we go. We have price currently right at resistance. Exactly on point. So I'll go back on the 4-hour right here, hide the SR indicator, zoom out from this point, and there you go. We have price come up, rejected off this point right here. So we have a rejection from right there. I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. And it looks like we might have a sell signal that might appear sometime soon. So if you have a sell signal that appears right here, then we can anticipate this to come down and test this structure. Once it tests this structure, it can either shoot up from this point or it can continue dropping further. Looking at the other GBP pairs, they're all overall bullish, but they're all coming down right now. So looking at GJ right here, it's coming down. Looking at GA, it's coming down. GC coming down, GCHF coming down, GJ coming down, GN coming down, GU coming down as well. So looking back at GJ over here, you know, like I mentioned, it has an overall bullish momentum, but you guys can see right here that whenever it rejects off a point like it did right here. So here's another example of when this happened exactly, right? So exactly it happened right here, rejection, sell signal, and then what happened from there, it pushed down to the next structure down here, right? It's exactly what I just drawn right here. If we have a rejection off this point, we get a sell signal like we did right here, odds are I'll come down and test this structure before either breaking below or rejecting off this point right here. We just don't know when that's going to happen. So scenario number one is that price rejects off this point, we get a sell signal, and then you can write it down from this point. Scenario number two is that price swings up from this point. Like say price doesn't close below this structure, it rejects off this point as it wicks and it continues up further. Then scenario number two is that we can take a buy position from here and write it from that point. But like I mentioned, it can go either way. It can either come down from here, provide a sell signal, or it can shoot up here, close above this structure, and then we can pretty much write it up from that point. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's two scenarios here that can play out for GJ. Just with the way the market's been moving today and this week, it's very uncertain, you know, which direction it'll continue on. So I would wait for that confirmation, either wait for the sell signal or wait for price to close above here before you take any trades for GJ, because the last thing you want to do is enter a short position here too early, spikes up, and then it stops you out, and then it comes right back down, right? That happens all the time. Another example here is you enter a buy position because you think it's going to shoot up from this point, and then it just ends up dropping further and further lower. It stops you out, and then it shoots up from that point to your TP. So just be patient with your trades, guys. Market's moving very weird today, and just in this week in general, because the U.S. is trying to impeach Trump. They've been doing it all week, and then there's just a lot of other news going on with the COVID strain. You know, new data coming around as well. I think on CNBC they mentioned that the COVID strain originally originated from the US. So this is a big deal, right? Because they're trying to figure out, you know, how to combat this new COVID strain. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot of things that are going on in the market, probably due to that new COVID strain. That's why the JPYs are gaining in strength. So the JPY is gaining in strength right here. And then looking over at the other JPYs, they're all gaining in strength as well, slightly. Well, not all of them. It looks like odd JPY is gaining in strength. Your JPY is gaining in strength. GJ is gaining in strength. NZD JPY is gaining in strength. And the same with UJ over here. So keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. So it's very, very dangerous for you to really take risky trades. But like I mentioned, just wait for the sell signal here to take that sell, or wait for price to swing above here before taking that buy. So that's it for GJ right there. Let me continue on further with the next one. Momo Cryptic wants me to take a look at Aussie USD. I mean, Aussie 200. So let me go to the Aussie 200 right here. Let me go ahead and delete everything off the chart. Turn that off right there. Zoom out from this point. Go on the 1 hour over here. Zoom out over here. And rectangle right there. So like I mentioned before, guys, these zones aren't that important for indices, because if there's momentum in the market, it'll break right through these zones. They're not as important as they are for Forex and stuff like that, because for Forex pairs, it's a ranging asset compared to the indices, which is news driven. You know, depending on company news, world news, stuff like that, it'll be news driven. So looking at AU 200 over here, the Aussie 200, looks like it's currently in a downtrend right now. Overall downtrend right now. That's like one confirmation that it's coming down. I'm gonna turn on the momentum indicator. We also have it's an invalid buy signal. So looking at this right here, it looks like it can easily, I mean, there's a couple of scenarios it can play out here. I'll go on the 10-minute. So a couple of scenarios over here. Let me check this out real quick. We have a pending sell signal right here. So this can easily come down from this point. You know, just looking at it from a bigger perspective, looks like this is the established high right here. You can see that price has been trying to break this structure since the 12th, since yesterday. So since yesterday, price came up, rejected off this point, came down. I'll just draw from here. So we have a rejection point right there. That's one rejection, two rejection right here, three rejection right there, four rejection right there, five rejection right there. So it's rejected 5 times from that same exact spot. Looks like every time it rejects and then it has a sell signal, it usually has a nice tumble down, right? Rejection, sell signal, tumble down. Rejection, sell signal, tumble down. Rejection, sell signal. It looks like it went sideways for a bit before it ended up coming down. So same situation right here. However, this is an invalid sell. So you can see right here that this isn't a valid sell signal. So that's why it swung up. Rejection, invalid sell, swung up. Looks like we could possibly have a valid sell right here. If we get a valid sell at this point, what's probably going to happen? Drop. So keep that, see right there. We have the valid sell forming right there. And just looking at this over here, I'm going to go ahead and take this off the chart. You can see that it just keeps repeating itself, right? Literally rejection, sell signal, drop. Rejection, sell signal, drop. Rejection, sell signal, fake out right here, and then drop. Rejection, invalid sell, retracement up, valid sell, drop. So this is kind of what I see happening here for Aussie 200. It's probably going to drop, probably not right now, but the Aussie market opens in about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, in about 5 hours. So in about 5 hours, we can probably see volatility pick up for the Aussie 200 as the market reopens for the Aussie market. And then we could probably see this drop at that point. So just keep that in mind. But this is basically what I see happening for the Aussie 200 within the next, 5 or 10 hours. So let me see what else is here before we continue on. I just want to go ahead and check the chat real quick before we move forward with this. All right, so I missed a lot of stuff over here before we continue on. Varun said, hope I hit that first TP and eat yesterday's loss to get out of that DD. No, definitely. Cameron said, have you ever considered taking on big investors as managing money for big clients? Not really, Cameron. I'm pretty fine with FTMO because I can just keep scaling that. I don't have to deal with people, If I start investing for people, if I start managing accounts, I got to deal with people. I got to deal with people hitting me up every day, people complaining, people, it's just dealing with people is just, it's a whole nother game. So I personally don't want to do it, especially if I'm going to be investing in the US or, being a money manager in the US. I have to get certification for stuff like that. So it's just too much work for me. So I wouldn't do it. Oh yeah, and David responded to your message right there as well. He said technically and legally he cannot. Yeah, exactly. I can until I'm certified to really manage money, and it's just too much work. If I go to school to get that certification, it takes so much time out of my own trading. It just makes no sense for me, right? I might as well just keep trading, make my own money, and just trade my own money from there. Kenny said we hitting full TP today. Let's go. Definitely. So let me take a look real quick. Yeah, it looks like it retraced up a little bit, but it's coming right back down. I'm not too worried about it. Let's see if there's anything else over here. Nice. So Cody came for a visit real quick. It's Kai's brother right there. Kurt said, can you put a line where the New York Stock Exchange market open? Yeah, the line's right here, Kurt. So I put it right here at 6:30 a.m. That's when the market opened. It looks like it went sideways for a bit, and then we got that sell signal. So just looking at it from right here, if I take this off over here, there, it cleans it up quite a bit, where it's just pretty much, I mean, obviously, if you look at it from here, it's still in a pretty decent downtrend from this point. I mean, we'll see. I'm not going to bother with it. Like, I'm not even going to look at it, guys, because when you guys look at US 30, that's where it stresses you out. So I'm not going to bother looking at it. But yeah, basically right here is where the 630 line is. And then moving forward right here, it's moving down. With that sell signal, we have that full confirmation that it's likely going to continue dropping from that point. All right, so let me continue on with this even further. Verdun said FTMO is like a blessing. You can get main thing for trading, that is capital. Exactly. And that's what I use FTMO, guys. So a lot of you guys don't realize this, but I use FTMO as it's only a vehicle for me. It's not the end all be all. I'm using FTMO, and then my profits from FTMO, I move that to my personal account and into other investments. And then I just keep growing that until I don't need FTMO anymore, right? But FTMO is cool for now, stack up profits, trading with them for the next couple years or so. And then once I'm ready to do my own thing, I'll do my own thing. But for now, I use FTMO because I'm not going to risk like $2,000, $5,000, $2,000 to $5,000 off one US 30 trade, right? I want to allocate that around. And trading with FTMO, there's just no risk on my end because I'm already funded. I've gotten my payout back already. So I've received back my challenge fee. Everything moving forward from here on my FTMO accounts is all profit. I'm not risking anything. Everything is just profits on my end. So that's why I prefer to use FTMO. A lot of people ask, why do I prefer to use FTMO? And the answer is simple. The answer is that I don't have to risk my own money. And then at the end of the month, the payouts are just straight profit for me. And I don't have to deal with people. I don't have to deal with any other investors. I just make my profits. They calculate it at the end of the month, and then they pay me out. No questions asked. And that's pretty much what I'm doing at this point. Here, let's see if there's anything else over here before we continue. City said it's been wicking off that zone to the upside for the past couple of days. That's what made me ask. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, the reason for those wicks are because of the news, City. Like if you have been following, I'm sure you were in the session yesterday, right? With Trump, they're trying to impeach Trump in the US. So like with that said, it's going to cause a whole bunch of stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of madness going on. We have the Trump news right here. Like it just gets updated every couple minutes. The House to impeach Trump for inciting Capitol Hill attack as more Republicans get on board. So like right here, they're trying to impeach Trump. You know, obviously right here, there's COVID news. There's a lot of stuff in the market that's affecting not just US 30, but the market in general. So you just keep that in mind, guys, when you're taking these trades, because that's what's making these trades risky today, because there's a lot of news going on affecting the market directly and indirectly. So let me continue moving forward over here and see what's going on. Flynn said that upper zone has been well respected. There's no news why there would be a bullish Dow Jones reaching new all-time highs. I agree, Flynn. And that's why I was more inclined to take a sell rather than a buy right now. City said US 30 should play out nicely. It's also a pivot entry. Nice, perfect. Flynn said, Shawn, do you ever tell scammers you will sue them because you're a lawyer? Not really. You know, the scammers will be scammers, guys. Like, honestly, it doesn't matter what you tell a scammer. They're going to keep scamming until they get caught. And it's just not worth my time, right? I'd rather focus on trading and teaching you guys rather than having to deal with these scammers. So like whenever we do have scammers that appear, I just boot them, because either they're just going to keep trying to come back or they're going to keep trying to do what they're doing, whether it's within our group or any other group. So there's no winning at that. I just let them do what they do and I just boot them when I can. Ikizi said client sentiment is bullish for US 30, too many retail shorts. Let's see how this plays out though. I agree. I did see that as well, Ikizi, but we're definitely going to continue forward with that. Ozimoya is asking, do you trade gold? I personally don't trade gold, but I can analyze it if you know if that's something that you want. Gold is one of the highly manipulated pairs, so I don't trade it because it's always being manipulated. So it's more risky than not. And for me, I personally like to just trade stuff that I know how to trade and that I'm familiar with. Sam said, City, what time frame did you see the pivot entry on? Peter said, CME 6 months. Okay, so Peter just mentioned this right here. Peter mentioned this news update right here. So this is probably going to affect the market, which is fine. You know, guys, we're going to keep playing our position as it should, and then we'll see how this ends up playing out. Let me see if there's anything else here. Jay Calvin said, yeah, GBP pairs were down a lot because of COVID, right? I wouldn't say necessarily because of COVID, but I mean, yeah, it would have effect on it as well because of the new strain. So with the new strain going on, obviously it's going to affect, you know, all these pairs, because I believe the new strain is pretty big in the UK right now. So maybe that's what's affecting it. I don't see any other news here that's affecting the GBP. If I go to news over here, there's not really much that's going on aside from pandemic news. So that might be it, Jay, but I'm not sure 100% if that's, you know, the reason why the GBPs are coming down right now. So let me see what else we got over here. All right, so I'm going to skip the rest of these questions right now, guys, and I'm going to continue through with this analysis before we keep pushing up at this point. All right, so let me go to the next questions, guys. I'm done going through the chat right now. I'll come back to it in a second, but Cameron wants me to take a look at CHF-JPY. So I'm gonna take a look at that first. I'm gonna go ahead and delete everything off the chart, turn on my K2SRs, and then I'm gonna go ahead and draw my zones on the chart for you guys. That right there. That right there and that right there. All right, cool. So it looks like CHF-JPY has been consolidating for the most part. I mean, this is a ranging pair anyways. It's a ranging asset. So I generally don't like to trade it. You can see that it usually goes from, you know, bullish or bearish move. So it'll have a bearish move, consolidate, bearish move, then bullish move, consolidate, bullish move, consolidate. So it goes in cycles. So like right here, we have a bullish move and then it consolidates. Bearish move, consolidates. Bullish move, consolidates. Bearish move, consolidates. I mean, bullish move, consolidates. Bearish move, consolidates. So currently right here, looking at CHF-JPY, Cameron, it's just going sideways right now for the most part between these two zones right here, right? So looking at this from this perspective, turning on the momentum indicator, we have an invalid sell right here, right? So we had the sell signal, it came down, consolidated. So from this point right here, I would be waiting for this to either break above here or break below here. So if it breaks above here with the buy signal, then I would take a long position. Vice versa, if it breaks below here, because we currently have a sell signal, then I would take a short position from here. So I personally wouldn't trade CHF JPY until it breaks above this structure or until it breaks below this structure right here, because it looks like it's just going to be consolidating for a bit. You can see right here, if you were trading this and then you saw that it was consolidating within this point, obviously because it was consolidating, and this point down here, if you're doing the same thing that I just mentioned right now, so like actually the consolidation point is probably like right here. Yeah, so if you're following what I just mentioned over here for breaking outside of that consolidation phase, so you can see right here, price was consolidating pretty nicely, right? As soon as it broke above this structure, like I mentioned right here, if it breaks above the structure right here, you can take that buy. So price over here broke above this structure, you take a long position, and there you go, full TP, right? So same situation right here. If price was to break above this structure, you can take a long position. However, if it breaks below this structure, you can take a short position. So I'd be patient with this. I'm not sure like if you're already in this trade or if you're thinking about it, Cameron, but CHF JPY, this is it's a ranging asset. This is probably one pair that I probably want to take off my watch list at some point, because most of the time it usually just consolidates. It's not really a directional pair for very long. So last thing you want to do is enter this trade, because we did take a trade like this before, and trust me, we held on to this trade for like a whole month before it had some movement. I think it was like where was it at? It was sometime like last year around like summer. I think it was like somewhere around here where it was just going sideways for so long, and it literally didn't like shoot up until like, let's see, it consolidated from this point all the way over here for like 21 days, for like a whole month. And then it finally shot up and we're like, oh, thank God. Like we took a long position and we were still in the position. We ended up hitting full TP eventually, but it took like about a month for it to get to that point. So just keep that in mind when you're trading CHF JPY. The problem with this pair is that they're both safe haven currencies, right? Swiss franc's a safe haven currency, JPY is a safe haven currency. So usually when there's like madness going on in the world, safe haven currency is gaining strength. So if the world's going like nuts right now, like how it is currently, you know, the US is all over the place, COVID is all over the place. This is just going to go sideways because people are putting their money in both the Swiss franc and in the Japanese yen. So that's why I'd be careful with this pair. But yeah, I mean, I would just wait for it to either close above here or close below here before taking that entry. Otherwise, if you're in the position already, hang tight and just see what happens from that point. So let me see if there's anything else over here. All right, so we have a couple more pairs here. We have NASDAQ for Cassian and Super Sam. We have CAD JPY for Citi. We have Euro CAD for Dil Raj, and then we have Bitcoin for Super Sam as well. So I'm going to go down the chat real quick and then answer all of these questions before we get back to these analyses. So we have one more over here for ComCon. ComCon wants EG, Euro GBP, and then we'll move on from there. So let me go ahead and answer these questions real quick before we continue further. So CT said, I'm already short for a retrace from 6.665 below entry. Nice, nice. So that's pretty good, CT. So you should be pretty nice and profit already at this point. Let me see if there's anything else over here. Nice. So Kel said there's an inverted head and shoulders on the 1 minute for US 30. So that's gonna be beneficial for us as it comes back down further, hopefully. Dennis said, Shawn, do you do multiple positions on Forex as well for your TPs like you do on US 30? I don't, or actually I do sometimes, Dennis. So depending on what platform I'm trading on, if I'm trading on MT4, then I do that. But if I'm trading on forex.com, I don't, because the positions average themselves out. So I just take one full position and then I'll either sell off half or then I'll just keep, I'll I'll just move my stop loss and profit if I'm trading with Forex.com, because they use the first in, first out calculations, where you have to, like, your first positions that go in, they have to come out first. So it's a little different with Forex.com. Like, you can't set two separate positions like you do with MT4, where they're like two separate ones. For Forex.com, when you take two positions, they just put themselves together and then they average themselves out. So it's a little different with Forex.com versus on MT4. Jay said, what do you guys think about Trump getting banned from Twitter? I mean, I felt like it was bound to happen eventually, but I find it kind of funny that it happened. And then we'll see what happens from there. Because I think Trump also got banned from like YouTube. He got banned from Facebook. He got banned from like literally everything. So I'm not, there was an article yesterday, but I don't have it anymore. But he did get banned from pretty much everything. I think it's kind of funny that it happened, because it kind of, I mean, it did help. It made him be more like the talk of the world. But when he goes back to his normal life, he's gonna be screwed, because he's gonna be banned from like literally everything, and it's gonna hurt business and stuff like that. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. Maybe that's gonna benefit him in some way. So let me continue on over here. Captain Bang said, hi, US 30. Yeah, we're currently in a sell for US 30 right now, Captain Bang. It's like in some slight drawdown right now. Not very much, but we're currently in a sell right now. David said ZM. Hamizan said, GU, please. I got profit from last morning with your analysis. Awesome, Hamizan. I'm glad that you made profit from my analysis yesterday. So I'm going to add you before Comic-Con, because Comic-Con asked for EG after you. So Hamizan, we're going to take a look at GBP USD. Let me see if there's anything else over here. David said, I got an option that should be printing really nice. Nice. HGFJ, how did you manage to not lose 1,000? HGFJ, I'm trying to figure out what you meant by that. So if you could be a little more specific, HGFJ, I'm not sure what you mean by your question. You said, how did you manage not to lose 1,000? So if you can be a little more specific, I can probably answer your question, but I'm not sure what you're referring to with your question. Cameron said, so what are their terms if you lose money that month? You don't owe a thing? No, you don't, Cameron. So if you lose money that month, you can keep trading until you lose the account. So you can keep trading until you lose 10,000. Once you lose 10,000, you lose a funded account. That's about it. But you don't have to own anything, because once you're funded, you're pretty much, that's that. You don't have to deal with investors complaining or asking so many questions, like, why am I in the red today? I'm like, bro, the market moves up and down, it's not always up. So yeah, for FTMO, you don't have to own anything. Once you're funded, you're pretty much good. You make your money back from your challenge fee and you're good to go. CT mentioned Wall Street is not happy because they want admin to focus on new appointments, not impeachment. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that too, CT. So let's let it drop then if they're not happy, right? So we'll let it drop, and then hopefully we'll make some profit off that. So Spencer said, would you recommend becoming FTMO certified right from the start, obviously after being educated? So Spencer, it's really up to you. If you're comfortable with your trading, then you can do FTMO. If you're not comfortable with your trading yet, then don't do it yet, because you're just going to be wasting money if you lose your challenge. There's no right or wrong time to start FTMO. It's just up to you. If you're confident with your trading, then you can do it. But keep this in mind: if you're not profitable trading non-FTMO, you're not going to be profitable trading FTMO. So don't think that just because you have a huge account size now, you're going to be a great trader. You have to make sure that you're a great trader before you actually do it, because if not, you're just going to be losing money. Because if you can't be profitable without FTMO, you're not going to be profitable with FTMO, and it's due to their requirements. It makes things a whole lot more difficult, because they require you to use proper risk management. So if you guys don't have proper risk management down, or if you guys don't know how to trade properly, then you should just not do it yet. Make sure that you're there 100% before you do it, because if not, you're just going to lose your challenge fee and you're just going to be upset. You can do the trial or the demo first if you want to test it out, but me personally, I don't think you should do it unless you're 100% about your trading. CT said new appointments mean new regulations, which drives company direction. Exactly. I agree with you too, CT. I'm trying to figure out what's going to go with the new tax law next year. Glad I got my Tesla. I got that for that the Trump Hummer tax. Let's see. Skills Trade said, you say gold is highly manipulated. Is that because it's a safe haven currency? And would that be the same for other safe haven currencies? Not exactly, Skills Trade. Gold is a highly manipulated asset because a lot of people trade it. Depending on how many people trade an asset will mean how much it's manipulated, right? Gold is one of the main safe haven currencies that people trade. The reason why it's highly manipulated is because the market makers and institutions know that majority of people trade gold, right? And majority of people who are trading gold don't know what they're doing. They're just buying or selling, or they're following calls, and that provides like a leveled playing field for the institutions, because when you look at IG sentiment, you can literally just go the opposite of gold, and you could probably have better luck doing that. So if you go to IG sentiment, you look at gold, and you see here that 80% of people, 83% of people are long gold, right? So if that many people are long gold, what's probably going to happen? They're probably going to spike price down a bunch of times to kick people out of the trade. So right here, everyone is long gold, right? There's like so many people that are long gold, and they've been long gold for a long time. I think if you guys followed my analysis from gold for like the past couple of weeks, it's always been like about 85%. So what happens when everyone longs gold, right? Everyone was longing gold like last week, right? Everyone was trying to buy gold here. I told you guys, don't buy gold, because look what happened here. When there was so many people that were long gold, the institutions spiked price down to stop them out. It's a stop loss hunt. Everyone has their stop losses right here. So they stop people out right here. They bring it back right here. So people rebuy gold because they're like, oh, it's just a break and retest, right? It's retesting. So people buy gold there. They enter another long position at this point. And then what happens? They push it up slightly, and then they spike it back down to stop everyone out again, right? They give these people that false hope right here that it's going to skyrocket up. However, that doesn't happen. What happens is it spikes back down, and then it stops them out again. And then you see these wicks right here, because you can see that they're trying to trick people again. So they trick people right here to lose. And then again, right here, they push price up slightly. So what happens here again? People try to enter another long position because they're like, okay, it's going to come back up at this point, right? So they put their stop losses right there. And then what happens? They spike it down even further to stop them out. So that's why gold gets manipulated, because they see where all the retail traders are trading. They see so many people are long. So at this point right here, what are they going to do? There's going to be a lot of people here. So they're just, it's the same trick again, right? So sorry, man. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So like right here, there's 83% of people are long for gold, right? What do you think is going to happen here, guys? Price spiked up from here because they want people to enter buys for gold, right? They want people to enter buys for gold. What's probably going to happen here? It's probably going to reject off this point and spike down to stop everyone out, because everyone who's entering gold right here has their stop loss like right there or right here, right? So this is probably what I see happening right here for gold, because the thing is, you want to trade where everyone else is trading. The institutions and market makers do the opposite. And the reason for these spikes right here, you see these wicks right here. The reason for that is because they stop all these people out. So they stop people out. And then what happens at this point is the banks and institutions, they buy right here. So at this point, they buy and they push it right back up. And then they sell off again right here to dump it right back down. So you guys got to look at it from, like you're playing chess. You have to look at it from many different perspectives. You have to identify where everyone's trading, and you have to make sure that you're not trading where the majority of people are trading, because odds are it's probably going to go against you. So that's it for gold right there. Let me keep going down the questions again real quick before we continue further. You have EG for ComCon. We have anything else over here? So CT's mentioning it speaks volume for tech companies controlling speech. Exactly, 100%. I agree for that as well. Flynn said, Shawn, is it better to pass your FTMO and go straight into another challenge and repeat the process until you get 3 accounts, then trade for real with 300K, or stagger the accounts? So for me, I stagger the account. So once I get to my verification phase, I already know I'm going to pass that within like a couple of days. So I'll pass my challenge, I'll get to verification, then I'll start my next FTMO, and then I'll copy my trades from the main one to that one so that they both pass. And then on that one, when the second one becomes verification, then I start my third one, and that's pretty much how I pass my FTMOs like that. So that's pretty much how how I do it personally. I mean, it's really up to you how you want to do it. Just like I mentioned before, it's up to you depending on how confident you feel with trading multiple accounts, right? Because sometimes people don't have good luck with doing that as well, because I mean, it just really depends on the market, guys. Like one week could be good, one week could be bad. It's just really depending on how the market's moving. But with our high win percentage, I just pretty much go through it regardless of how the market's moving. I just do it, and if I pass, then I pass. If I fail it, I'll just do another challenge. Not a big deal. But I haven't failed FTMO, so I'm thankfully, knocking on wood, I'm pretty much good for the most part. So that's how I normally do it, Flynn. I just stagger them as I get to the verification phase. HEFG said, how did you manage not to lose 1,000 for FTMO during? Wait, what do you mean HGFJ? I mean, I've lost 1,000 for an FTMO. I mean, you guys have seen my profits before, guys, right? Like I show you guys my profits all the time. So I don't always win. See, for my FTMO right here, I had 8,754 in profit for I think December. And I have losses. I have wins and I have some losses, but majority of them are wins. And then they added up to well over profit. And then obviously right here, there's a withdrawal. So this shows you that my FTMO is an actual funded account, because you can't withdraw from a challenge. So, I mean, for example, here, I have good days and then I have bad days. They're not all going to be great days, but with my risk management, I always end up in profit because I have 3 accounts. So I have, like, for here, I show you guys through like 3 accounts right here. I have one where I made 2,500, one where I made 2,563, and then another one where I made 2,300. So these are all copied accounts, but they're 3 separate 100K accounts for FTMO. So, basically I make like 2,500 per trade. And then you multiply that by 3, 2,500 times 3. I lock in like 7,500 per US 30 trade. So, I don't know if that answers your question, HGFJ, but I mean, I do lose 1,000. It's just, I make it right back. You can't win every single trade. Like, you guys got to keep that in mind, that you guys can't win every single trade. You're never going to be 100%. The key is that you have proper risk, so that when you do lose, you can just eat that loss and then you move on to the next one. Because, we rarely lose in K2. Like, we do lose every once in a while, but most of the time we win. So if you do things properly, you don't have to worry about those losses, because you just eat those losses, move on to the next one. But all right, so I think that's it for that. Let me, sorry, Deswell, what was your question again? Deswell said, hey, you skipped my question, Shawn. Deswell, let me scroll up and see if I see your question here. If not, you can put it in the chat again, but I'm scrolling up right here and I don't see any question by you. Yeah, Deswell, I scrolled up all the way to the top and I don't see your question anywhere. So I'm not sure where you sent that question. Did you send it on Telegram? Because if you did, I probably didn't. I haven't gotten to the questions on Telegram yet, but I'm looking over here real quick. So I'll put this right here, and I have the chat right here. So Deswell said, hey, you skipped my question, Shawn, but I'm scrolling up here and I don't see anything from you. So I'm not sure where you sent that question, but if you want to ask it again, I mean, feel free, Deswell, I'll answer it. I just don't see it here. Because I go down this in order. So I'm looking over here. I don't see one question from you from today, unless you asked it somewhere else. So here we go, all the way to the top. Nothing from you, Deswell. So you can go ahead and put it back here if you want, and I can answer it. But other than that, I'm going to answer the next question. So we have NASDAQ 100 for Cassian and Super Sam. Let me go over to NASDAQ real quick. Go to the 1 hour. Draw these zones on the chart for you guys. And like I mentioned, guys, you know, these zones aren't super important, but I'm just going to draw them for you for visualization so that we can identify where rejection points are and stuff like that. All right. All right, looks like we're good. So I think that's it for NASDAQ. I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator right here. So there we go with NASDAQ right there, guys. So we do have a bullish signal right here. So we would want to wait for this to close above this structure. And then if it does close above that structure, you can possibly take, you know, a long position from here and then ride that up to here. So that's, I mean, obviously this is the bias for right now. I mean, this is the bias for NASDAQ because we have a buy signal right here. You know, vice versa, we had a sell bias over here, but price never broke the structure down here. So that's why we didn't take that sell. But, you know, looking like, here's an example of this buy right here, what I just drew up for you. So like right here, we have a, sorry, let me grab this. We have a rejection point right there. We have a buy signal right here. And then we have price breaking structure right here. So rejection point, buy signal, breaking close past structure. What happened from that point? It shot up to here, right? Same situation right here. We have a rejection from this point. We have a buy signal right here. We just need price to break and close past this structure like it did right here. And then we can ride this up to that structure again right there, where it can either break through it or reject right off it, right? So this is basically, you know, what I see happening right here for the NASDAQ. But we would have to wait for it to close above, right? And this is going to affect our US 30 position because they don't move the same direction. So just looking at the NASDAQ right here, this is what we would be looking for. This is scenario number one. I mean, vice versa, if price ends up rejecting from this point and coming down in the other direction, then we would be looking for a sell. And an example for that would be this right here. So we have price reject off this point. We have a sell signal right here. And then we had price break structure down here, right? So this happens, price ends up shooting down to here. So there's like another example there. So if price doesn't break above here, so if price fails to break above here and close, then we can easily have another rejection off this point, followed by a possible sell signal anywhere over here, like it did right here, right? Rejection, rejection, sell signal maybe above here or anywhere around this area. And then this could possibly drop down to retest this structure down here. So scenario number one is price breaks above it, shoots up. Scenario number two, price comes down, we get a sell signal, and then it continues down further from that point. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, every time you analyze something, always analyze it from two perspectives at the very minimum. Don't be like, oh, I see a buy signal and this has to go up, right? There's no guarantee it's going to go up, guys. Analyze it from one way, looking at it going this direction, and then also analyze it in worst case scenario, it ends up reversing from this point and comes down from here. So that way you have full understanding as to, you know, the risks and probabilities of it either going up or it going down. Don't just have your eyes set on like one direction, like, oh, it's going to go this direction or, oh, it's going to go in this direction. You have to have that full confirmation that it's either going to go this way or it's going to go this way before you enter that trade. Because the last thing you want to do is enter a long position here because you see a buy signal, but it hasn't broken structure. And then what happens is you put your stop loss right there. It ends up stopping you out, rejects off this point, and then shoots way up to your full TP, right? Same situation with a sell. You don't want to enter a sell position right here just because you see this bearish candle. you have your stop loss right here. As soon as you enter that trade, it swings up, stops you out, and then comes right back down. It happens all the time, guys. You know, this is a common issue with a lot of traders. A lot of traders just aren't patient enough to wait for that confirmation before entering the trade. But if you wait for that confirmation, you guys could probably have a winning trade, or you can avoid a possible losing trade. So that's it for NASDAQ 100 right there. We have one more question for CAD/JPY from Citi. I'm going to answer that real quick, and I'll get back to the chat. If you guys have any other questions, just put them in the chat, and then I'll take a look. But I'm going to try to zoom through these questions because I know I've been going off track a lot today. Sorry, guys. You know, we had a pretty eventful day. It's funny seeing people in the other chat arguing and fighting over losing trades while we're over here chilling at K2. So, yeah, let me go ahead and put this back over here real quick. And then I'll draw these zones for you guys right here. And you guys can see how easy it is, right? Like, you guys see me do the same thing every single pair. Literally, I draw the zones, I check momentum, and then I analyze. Super, super simple. And this is available to everyone. So if you guys want to learn how to trade exactly how I do, you just go on our website, k2trades.com, right here. Click on K2 Strategy Course, and then click Enroll. That's about it. Once you enroll here, you'll have access to all of the indicators. You'll have access to all of the premium groups. You'll have access to a one-on-one mentorship with me personally. So keep in mind, guys, that K2 is still not that big yet. So like right now, you guys have one-on-one access to me. But as K2 continues to grow, I'm going to get busier and busier. And at that point, you guys aren't going to have access to me anymore. So if you guys want to learn how to trade exactly how I do, you know, take advantage of it while you guys can, because I can't promise that, you know, this time next year, I'm going to be available to be having one-on-one sessions with you guys, because I'm just getting way too busy at this point. So that's it for CAD/JPY right here. I marked up my zones right here. Obviously, it's in an uptrend. We have a bullish signal right here. So looking at this from this perspective, we have a rejection off this point. We have a buy signal right here. If this closes above this structure, we can anticipate this to shoot up to this structure right here before either rejecting off here or continuing on higher from that point. So keep that in mind right there. You know, a clear example of this entry point right here would be down here, where we had a rejection point from here. We had a buy signal right here, breaking structure from this point. And what does it do? Comes up and tests this structure. It breaks structure again right here. And then what does it do? It tests this structure right here. So it's the same situation again right here. We have the rejection, the buy signal. If it closes in about 46 minutes. If this closes, then odds are it's going to push up to test this structure again, right? It's just history repeating itself. It always does the same thing over and over again. As long as you're able to identify these structures, identify the momentum, you'll be able to catch these moves right here. Just one caveat with this right here is that I generally like there to be at least 25 pips between each zone to cover the spread, because the spread here is about 2 pips. So you got to pay about 4 pips spread in and out. So you subtract 4 pips from there, you have about a 12 pip profit potential. Is it really worth the risk for you to enter this trade to go for like 12 pips? Probably not, right? So I probably wouldn't take this trade right here, even if this was to close, and I'd wait for it to close above here. So once it closes above here, you know, it's a game of patience, guys. If it closes above here, then you can take another long position from this point and then ride that for even more. So instead of going for that 12 pip profit, you just wait a little longer, wait for it to close above here, and then go for an 80 pip profit instead, right? So that's it for CAD/JPY right there. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm going to try to zoom through these even further, and then we can continue on with these right here. So Dilraj wants me to take a look at EuroCAD. Prior to that, I'm going to go through the chat real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything else. And then we will continue further. CT said gold is commodity. There's limited amount, it's very supply and demand oriented, and many non-traders, investors are net long. Yeah, I agree, CT. Day traders, institutions use spot price to churn in better buys. Pushing flow up and down, repricing, it's a game. Exactly, it's definitely. So if you guys are actively trading something like gold, you have to analyze it from an institutional, market maker perspective. If you're an investor, you just buy and hold long. You just buy the dips pretty much, and then you just buy and hold it for long term. Spencer said, you make this look easy. Yeah, definitely, Spencer. That's the whole point of trading, guys. A lot of people like to overcomplicate trading, but in reality, it's really, this is what I tell people all the time. In trading, price can go up or it can go down. It doesn't matter what strategy you're using. Any strategy works really, as long as it has above a 50% win rate. But the real key is risk management. Obviously price can go sideways for a bit, but if your range is wide enough, so this is what I don't understand with people sometimes. Sometimes people like to have like a really tight stop loss, but in reality, if you're entering this trade right here and your stop loss is 1-to-1, you can go to some drawdown, but then it eventually ends up swinging in profit, right? So I don't understand why people always try to knock, 1-to-1 risk. Obviously, I'm pretty profitable and I've been trading every single day for like the past couple of years now, and you guys have seen every trade. So obviously 1-to-1 risk does work. It's just, it's like a lot of these people get brainwashed by these other traders telling them that they have to do like a 1-to-3 risk reward or 1-to-4 or it'll never work. And the reason for that is because they have a low win percent strategy. Like their strategy doesn't win very often. So they have to eat those losses before they have that home run win, right? For us, we have a pretty high win percentage. So for us, we're able to do 1-to-1 risk and still be profitable. We take this trade right here, full TP. That's a 1-to-1 risk. We take a trade right here, full TP. That's a 1-to-1 risk. We take a trade right here, full TP, 1-to-1 risk, right? There's no problem with 1-to-1 risk. The problem with people that do 1-to-3 is that they're consistently losing. They're losing like 5 trades before they have one big trade to cover that loss. But at that point, they're just at break even. For us, we have 3 back-to-back wins. We're pretty deep in profit. So, before you guys like try to knock any strategy or any type of risk management or anything like that, there's no right or wrong answer to that, guys. Like depending on your trading strategy, if it fits your trading strategy, then apply it. If it doesn't, then move on to something else. But there's really no right or wrong way to trade, guys. You guys got to keep it simple, because if you make it too complicated, then you're just going to miss out on a lot of good trades. And that's just that's my advice with regard to this right here. Let me see this real quick. Sorry, I always get messages from a ton of people on Telegram. If you guys have messaged me on Telegram and I haven't responded to you yet, don't worry, I'll get back to you eventually. I'm just not able to respond to you guys right now, because obviously the main priority right now is the live stream. So I'm going to stay on here, and if you guys messaged me on Telegram, I'll get to you guys eventually. Let me see if there's anything else over here. Deswell said, because I noticed your funded account is still saying WS30. Yeah, Deswell, it still says WS30 because that's the symbol for US30. It's the same thing. I mean, every broker uses different names. WS30, US30, DJ30, Dow30, they're all the same thing. They're just different symbols. So it doesn't make a difference if it's called WS30, if that's your question. Okay, so let me see right here. Captain Bang said, I think my analysis is good. I didn't see your analysis anywhere, Captain Bang. I mean, if you could give your analysis, I can answer your question better, but I don't think you gave an analysis for US30. I just scrolled up here. Your first message said, hi, US30, question mark, question mark, question mark. And then you have one here. Hey, so I have a sell stop for US30 that's not active yet. I don't know where the price is for your US30 position. You got to be a little more detailed with your questions and responses, Captain Bang, because I don't understand what you mean. Because you're asking if your analysis is good, but I mean, your sell stop could be anywhere. We're currently in profit right now. Your sell stop could be down here. It could be up here. I just don't know exactly where your sell stop is. I mean, if you're in a sell, obviously, you're in the same boat as us because we're taking a sell as well. But I can't really analyze your analysis if you don't provide like a chart or any pricing numbers, any entry points, anything like that. If you could be a little more specific, I can answer your question better. But I don't see anything from you here. Okay, yeah, no, that's no problem, Captain. Captain said, oh, sorry. Okay, we'll do that for sure. Great stuff. Yeah, Captain, if you could be a little more specific, I can answer your question better. But if you have a sell stop, then you're good because we're in a sell right now. So I don't know if, depending if yours has filled already, if you want to enter this trade, our entry point is 31047. So if it lines up with ours, you're good. But if you want to send a chart or something, I can look at your chart, see if your analysis was good or not with regard to mine. But going back to what I said earlier, there's no right or wrong way to analyze a chart, right? If you analyze it one way, that might be the way you see it. I can analyze it, with mine, and if it lines up, then yeah, definitely I would consider it a good analysis. So let me continue down the chat real quick before we continue further, and then we will push on with this as well. So Varun said US 30 back in profit, definitely. Kassian said thanks Shawn, God bless you, definitely, no problem. Flynn said, Shawn, will you hire staff to help K2 grow? Yeah, possibly in the future, Flynn, maybe this year actually, because we're really getting really busy at this point. I want to focus on just mentoring and teaching you guys. And I probably am going to hire some people to help with the admin stuff, because I don't want to do it takes a lot of time for me to answer emails, answer messages throughout the day, where I'd rather just be teaching you guys and, bettering our skills with trading and whatnot. So let me see if there's anything else over here. Vishnu said, Varun, are you staring at the charts 24/7? Varun said, bro, I live in India, so every session is my daytime. And lucky for you. Let me see if there's anything here. David said, I love Indian food. Yeah, no, definitely. We'll take a trip out there, David. Nice. Vishnu's in Singapore. Let me see if anyone else is over here. All right, so I see you guys having some side convos there, which is cool. I don't mind it, but I'm gonna skip through that. Cameron said we should have a K2 meetup at some point, then make a Wall Street team. Yeah, Cameron, for sure. That was actually our plan this year. We wanted to travel this year and visit all the K2 members all around the world, but COVID happened, so unfortunately we had to put that on hold. But hopefully this year, if not next year, we can travel again, and I can come visit you guys, wherever you guys are. Probably have some live trading sessions with you guys wherever you guys are located, and we'll have a great time. So let me see if there's anything else here before we continue. Flynn said K2 meetup inside Shawn's Tesla. I call shotgun. Definitely, whenever you guys are around. Varun said Shawn is a one-man army for Wall Street. Exactly. Let's see if there's anything else here real quick. All right, so I think that's it for now. Let me go ahead and continue on with the analysis before I continue with the questions. So next up, we have Dilraj's Euro CAD. So Dilraj, I'm gonna take a look at Euro CAD for you right now. This is actually one that see, that's kind of stupid. I should have taken this trade. I was looking at this here because I'm not gonna redraw everything, because obviously the zones are perfectly fine. Let me check real quick. Actually, I'll just redraw them because it looks like we have a couple new zones here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off the chart, take this off the chart, turn on the K2SRs, zoom out from this point. And obviously it only takes a few seconds for me to draw these zones anyway. So it's not a big deal that I'm taking time out of my day to redraw these, because this is going to help with my analysis as well for our trades moving forward. So there we go with Euro CAD. Down right there as well. Down right there as well. This one over here, and this one over here as well. All right, so we're good with all that. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off the chart, zoom out from this point. So I actually marked up this trade because I wanted to take it. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. The market's just been moving weird for us, so I didn't want to take any unnecessary risk. Unfortunately, we would have hit CP for this already, right there for about 40 pips. So the reason for this entry right here was that I identified this rejection from this point. So we had a rejection from this point right here. There's a rejection. We had a sell signal right here. Price broke structure right here. It would have provided for a sell entry right there, right? So if I was to call this trade, we would have been heavily in profit, almost a full TP right there. This is basically what I see happening right here. Dilraj, I see it pushing down to the structure. And then once it reaches the structure, it can either reject off this point, or it can break below here and continue down further. So this is basically what I see happening for Euro CAD right here. I'm still kind of bummed that I didn't take this trade, because I had it marked up. You guys saw when I first pulled up the chart. I was going to take this trade on the 6 a.m. candle close, but unfortunately, I kind of bitched out of this trade because I saw it pull up like it did right there. I probably could have put a sell stop right there and caught it on its way back down. But, unfortunately we missed it. I'm not sure if you're already in this trade, Dilraj, but if you are, looks pretty good from this point as it, swings back down. So I do have a sell bias from here. I think if it breaks the structure right here, it'll continue down further. However, it can easily reject off this point as well. So this is pretty much what I see happening for Euro CAD. Another confirmation for that is that it is in a very strong downtrend, obviously, right? You can see here, strong downtrend. So confirmation one, strong downtrend. Confirmation number two, it's establishing lower lows and lower highs. So we have the high right here. We have the low right here, lower high, and then it's broken this low right here and it's pushing down further. So one confirmation downtrend, two confirmation lower lows, lower highs, three confirmation rejection, sell signal, and a break in structure. And that's pretty much what I see happening here for EuroCAD. So hopefully you're in a sell, Dilraj. If you are, that'd be good. Nice. So Dilraj said, thank you, Shawn. I got stopped out at break even on the trade after TP1. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a risky trade because like right here, I was going to take this trade as well. Our TP1 probably would have been somewhere around here, 20 pips. And you can see that it spiked up, right? So that's probably where it kicked you out of the trade. The market's just been kind of crazy today. So don't worry about it. This is probably going to happen a lot where you're going to see these random spikes in price because of the news and because of just what's going on in the world. So if you get stopped out in profit or you get stopped out at break even, it's fine. Move on to the next one because there will be many other opportunities to come. Today's just it's a weird trading day. It's a weird trading week. And then generally after a weird week like this, we usually have a pretty good week. So even though this week's kind of slow, next week might be way, way better. So just keep that in mind and just keep in mind that, it's a long-term game. So that's about it for this right here. Let me see if there's anything else to look at before we continue on with the questions. So Captain Bang said, I'm entering at 30,932. Oh, nice. Yeah, so that's the sell stop. Yeah, so it looks good. Okay, so you're on FTMO. Yeah, perfect. So for FTMO, it looks like you have the same entry as us, Captain Bang. Over here is our FTMO parameter. So our entry was 30.932. So you should probably be in the trade now. Other than that, I think we're pretty much good to go from this point. So let me see if there's any other questions before we continue going on further. Flynn said it's cheap to hire virtual assistants from Upwork or Fiverr to do all the administrative tasks. Yeah, definitely, Flynn. That's exactly where I look. I get all of my people, like all of the people to help me with like K2 stuff off either there or I have another website too. It's called like Sunday Morning where you can find people for even cheaper. Deswell said, okay, Shawn, I'm coming to Cali to chill with you for about 2 weeks this year. Definitely, Deswell. I'll see you here, whenever you come through. CT said GJ is ripping. So let me go to GJ real quick. Oh yeah, I just rip right through it. So like, it looks like all of the GBP pairs are just, I mean, I don't know how long this drop's gonna come for, guys, because obviously the GBP is overall bullish, right? It just has this like spike down right here, but I don't know how long is this gonna hold, right? So this isn't a trade that I necessarily want to take because we don't really know if this is going to hold or if this is going to swing right back up after that. It seems like this this drop for the GBP might be news driven because I don't really see anything that's really causing it to drop like that. Actually, let's go check the let's check the index, right? So let me just look at the what's it, BXY. Yeah, so the British Pound Currency Index, we'll look at that right here, and it's super strong. So, looking at the BXY here, the British Pound Currency Index, it's bullish, but you can see for like GJ over here, it's pushing down, right? So I don't think this is going to be like necessarily a strong push down. I think it's going to swing back up. I don't know if you took a look at the index CT, but it looks pretty bullish to me overall. I mean, I'll go on the maybe the shorter time frame, 1 hour. I mean, overall, it still looks pretty bullish. It looks like it's wicking right there as well. So if we get that wick right there and it closes in like, I guess the next, I don't know, 3 hours or so, it can possibly like swing right back up. Let's look at the Japanese index, JXY. Japan index. This looks pretty weak, right? So the Japanese index looks weak. The British index looks strong. So if that's the case, I see this possibly swinging right back up. Might come down temporarily and then maybe swing right back up eventually, because I don't know, just looking at the indexes, that's kind of what I see happening there. But who knows, there might be something in the news pushing price down. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. Because the British index, it looks like it's wicking right there on the 4-hour. So it's a huge wick right there. Look at that wick. So if that wick ends up closing bullish, it might just end up swinging back up. We'll see how this plays out. Oh crap! Okay, so the impeachment debate just started. Kel just mentioned that. So looking at that, I mean, if the debate's starting right now, it's going to affect the market, guys. Hold on tight, like put on your seatbelts, bro, because we're gonna go. Like, I don't know what's going to happen right now with the. Damn. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see if this makes or breaks our trade, guys. They're going to be live updates. House begins debate on impeaching Trump for inciting insurrection. So we'll see how this plays out, guys. But who knows? We'll see how this ends up pushing price in one direction or the other. Let me check the chat over here real quick, see if there's anything else that I'm missing before we continue on. Damn, 6L, crazy. Skillshare said that bearish candle on GJ stopped me out and it hurt. Yeah, so let me go to GJ over here. Oh yeah, this little spike down, right? Yeah, because the thing with GJ is that it looks super bullish, right? So I don't understand what caused this drop here, but if you look across the board for all the GBP pairs, they all came spiking down, right now, or off this like specific candle. So I personally don't have an explanation for why it spiked like that. It doesn't make sense to me because the British index, like I mentioned, is pretty strong. It just had a slight drop right here, and then it ended up spiking again. So, and we'll see how this plays out. I realize my dog's right here. It's right here at my feet. All right, Kai. We're going to walk a little bit. Let me see this real quick and see if there's anything else that we should look at before we continue on. So I think that's it for this. Citi said that lower zone on the 30-minute US 30 wants to push to the upside, strong wicks. So we're getting like a lot of like crazy movement right here, guys, for US 30. So let me go on the 30-minute, like Citi just mentioned. So yeah, it was a strong wick right there. And then there's another strong wick above it right here. So if it wicks below it like that, odds are it can reject off here and shoot right back down, right, Citi? So I don't know if that's what you're looking at right there. So it's a strong upside wick. So if we get that wick off this side, we can probably see it drop even further. But I mean, we'll see what happens. See, like, check that out right there. We have a invalid buy right here. So I would actually like that if we get that invalid buy, because if we get that invalid buy, then the next signal would be a sell signal. And then we pretty much catch this right down. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, looking at 30-minute right here, it actually looks pretty decent if it ends up closing like that with upside down hammer, right? We get an upside down hammer, ends up dropping down pretty heavy. Let me see if we have an example for that over here, if that ever happened recently. Not necessarily, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Otherwise, I'm not really going to look at it, guys. I'm just going to let it play out like it's supposed to, because we do have a long range here. We have a lot of space for it to breathe before it ends up, going in our direction. So I'm gonna let it be. And I guess we can like continue to check this out once they start to. So they said Senate can vote to remove Trump from office as early as Monday. So, I mean, we'll see how this plays out, guys. I don't know what's going to happen here, but we'll try to keep up with the updates. But I think that's about it for here right now. Yeah, I think that's it for right there. So let me go ahead and take a look at the questions real quick. Let me see if there's anything else to look at before we continue on further. All right, so that's it for that. Let me see what the questions are here. So we looked at EuroCAD already. I'll look at Bitcoin for Super Sam real quick. So let's pull up Bitcoin. Looking at Bitcoin right here. Draw some zones for you guys. See, this is what I mentioned. The zones are very important because you can draw them for Forex, you can draw them for indices, you can draw them for gold, you can draw them for other commodities, you can draw them for Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what you want to trade. As long as you guys have these zones on the chart, it gives you a huge advantage over other people who are drawing these zones manually. Because when you draw them manually, there's always room for mistake. When you let the algorithm that I created draw these zones for you, they know exactly where the rejection points are. Because these zones only get tested if the same exact price point is tested, more than 2 times at the same exact price point. So you're like spot on zones by using the K2SR indicator. So looking at this right here, here's Bitcoin for you, Super Sam. You can see how much price generally respects these zones pretty nicely. Man, we always get these people here. Binary option, bro. Boot. There you go. Person got banned. Sucks for you. But anyways, going back over here, looking at Bitcoin. So you can see price came up, rejected off this point, came down, rejected off this point, and then now it's rejecting off this point again. So looking at the momentum indicator, we have a bullish momentum over here, but there's no guarantee that it's going to, necessarily swing up from this point. It might continue to drop even further, actually. So the thing that I don't like about Bitcoin is that it's, whoever has the most Bitcoin for the most part is who controls it, right? So I'm sure whoever made money off the Bitcoin that shot up, the past couple of months, they just sold off and then they let price drop. And then after that, they ended up buying it back right here to buy it at a discount, right? They sold up right here, they let price go down, and then they rebought right here. So this can easily swing back up further from this point, but it can also come back down because depending on who holds the most Bitcoin, this person might want to sell off even more because whoever has the most Bitcoin is acting as an institution, like the institution or the market makers, because they're literally controlling the market right now. Because Bitcoin is a limited asset. It's similar to like gold. It's similar to like US 30. It's limited. There's limited quantities to it. So whoever has the most Bitcoin, if they want to sell off, they can drive price down, and then they could just rebuy it again down here, and then make money off the people who just lost all their all their trades right there, right? So it just really depends on, I would follow news. Like if you're going to trade Bitcoin, follow crypto news to see like what people are talking about. And then you can see like what the big players are doing. I don't think Bitcoin necessarily really respects technicals as much as they do on like Forex or stocks or anything like that. And the reason for that's because there's just not enough data. Like, you go back to Bitcoin, price hasn't been at this price point ever, right? So price is currently up here. There's no data here to analyze, monthly resistance or monthly support because prices never came down this far or it came up this high. So right now it's establishing new support and resistance at this point. So price will probably shoot back up. And then as it comes back down, then you can respect those technicals because price is retesting the same area. Kind of similar to what happened over here. You can see price shot up to this point. There's no support and resistance over here because price has never been in this area. However, price came down from this point, came back up. And then as it came up here, it already established zones right here, right? At this point, it established zones because it's crossed around this area in the past. So it crosses around these areas. And that's where you can see price respecting, obvious technicals. However, where price currently is right now, like, Kai, can you stop scratching, bro? My dog keeps scratching. He's trying to find a good spot to lay down. But yeah, anyways, right here, price hasn't been in this area. So there's no history where price is likely to reject from, right? So this can literally go in either direction, whether it wants to go up or whether it wants to come back down. So I'd be careful with Bitcoin, guys. I mean, obviously for me, it's a long-term asset. It's not something I actively trade. If I do buy Bitcoin, I'll buy and I'll hold it. I'm not going to buy it and then sell it like tomorrow because there's a ton of fees that are associated with Bitcoin. And the spread for a lot of brokers is pretty crazy as well. I mean, unless you want to day trade it, you can do that. But it's really random. Like there's no way to really predict which way it's going to go for sure. Like for Forex, if we're trading something like, I don't know, I'm trying to look at a random pair, like a GCAD over here, we can see that these zones have been respected, over time, because the same area right here that's being tested. So this area is being tested. It was tested back in September, October, July, April, March, etc. You can go far back and you can see that the same exact price point was tested way back in 2019, 2018, 2017, and it has data behind it, right? Same with like gold. If you want to trade gold, you can see that the same exact price point has been tested time and time again. But if you look at Bitcoin, really different. These areas haven't been tested very long. And it's only been in this area since January 2nd, which has only been like 2 weeks ago. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you're trading Bitcoin or any other cryptos, it's speculative asset. It can literally go up. It can either go down. It's just really up to you with regard to, how you think it's going to move. But that's pretty much it for Bitcoin right there. Let me see if there is anything else for me to look at before we move forward. So we have two more pairs to look at, which is GU and EG. GU for Hamizan and then EG for Comic-Con, or sorry, ComCon. I called you Comic-Con. And then we will we'll figure out, if there's anything else from that point, or we'll be logging off for the day. So let me check this out real quick and see if there's anything else that we are looking at. Yeah, Roden said, I don't mind losing the trade, but losing because the news is painful. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can't really predict the news because like with this happening right here, I mean, this is obviously going to affect the US 30 directly and indirectly. See if there's anything else here. Renisi said, Italy's government in crisis after former prime minister pulls support for. So here goes another thing going on in the world, Italy. I don't know if Paul is in here, but if you're in here, there's your government, Paul, Italy's government. I guess something is going on there. And maybe this is what's affecting the GBP pair, right? Because this news is being announced by London. So I'm not sure if that's going to affect the GBPs directly or whatnot. But obviously, something here is affecting the market. So that's it for that. Let me see if there's anything else as we continue forward. Flynn said, Shawn, is it possible for you to develop an algo to find trades using your rules and then auto send signals to the Telegram groups, or is that too futuristic? No, it's definitely possible, Flynn. I actually have one like that for the original K2 strategy, but it had a lot of issues. Like there was always some technical issue that arose, and it just became too much of a hassle where it was better for me to just like call the trades on my own. So there is a way to do it. It's just, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of restructuring that needs to be done with the program. So it's too much of a hassle, and I'd rather just call the trades myself. All right, so I think that's about it for there. Let me see if there's any other questions here. The next question is GU from Hamizan. I'm gonna take a look at that really quick. And I'm gonna try to zoom through this because it's getting close to 10. I've been on the stream with you guys for about 4 hours now. So I don't mind hanging out with you guys all day, but I got a ton of other things to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead and draw these up for you guys and analyze GU, and then possibly look for any trades off the 10 a.m. candle close. And then from that point, we can move forward. So there we go with this. All right, so looking at this over here, we have a bullish bias right here, right? Because the previous signal was a bullish candle. So looking at G over here, we had a rejection off this point. Rejection right there. We had a buy signal right there. And then we had price push up from that point over there. So from that point right there, we have a rejection off this point. And I mean, what we possibly could have is some sort of sell signal that could appear from this point. So we have a rejection off this point. If we have a sell signal, then we can cash this as it comes back down. and take a short position from there. So that's one scenario, is price can, provide a sell signal and then we come down from that point. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is price can reject from this point, because we do have this nice wick right here. Price can reject from this point, push up from this point, and then if it closes above here, then we can take a long position from there, right? So, I mean, there's two scenarios that can play out for GU right here. Obviously, we have a bullish bias because the most recent signal was a buy signal. So this would probably be the, our main analysis for this right now, until we get a sell signal. If we get a sell signal and it closes below the structure, so this is scenario number one, price rejects off this point, closes above here, we take the buy. Scenario number two is going to line up with what happened over here, right? So right here, we have a rejection. We have a sell signal right here. And then it broke structure there's a lot of areas where it broke structure. It could have broken structure right here. And then it ended up pushing down from this point. Or it could have broke structure right here. And then we could have, rode this up right here, and then it came back down from that point. So this is one example of it doing the opposite, that we have a rejection right here. Let me just draw this right there. We have a rejection right here, and then we have a sell signal that would possibly appear right here, and then it can possibly, push down further. But, like I mentioned, it can go either way. It can either swing up, provide a buy signal, or it'll swing down and provide a sell signal from that point. So that's pretty much what I see happening for GU right here. Until it closes above here, then I wouldn't take a buy, or until we get a sell signal and it closes below here, I wouldn't take a sell just yet. So just keep that in mind for GU right there. That's pretty much it for that one. I'm going to go ahead and scan through all of the pairs over here. I'm going to make sure that there's no entries available. So we do have this possible entry here, but like I mentioned, I don't think it's a safe entry. It's why I didn't take it for this specific entry right here. I mean, technically this would have been in profit right now, but I'm trading very carefully with, the way the market's moving due to the current news. I mean, same situation right here. That's why I have these marked up right here. So if you guys see why I have these highlighted, it's because I was thinking about taking these trades, but I decided not to because of how the market is currently moving. Let me see odd JPY right here. Possibly if this closes below, but like I mentioned, same situation. I'm not really looking for anything too risky right now. CAD CHF. Let me see if there's an upper zone. Yeah, so no entry there. Reason for that is because it's at the current zone right here. So looking at that right there, no entry unless it closes above here. So it would have to close above this structure in order for us to take that buy entry, but it doesn't look like it's going to close above there within the next 10 minutes. Looking at this over here. Nothing right there actually, yeah. So I'm looking at this signal right here. I mean, technically we could still take this buy entry over here. Yeah, technically this close above there. Rejection run right there, buy signal right there. We could possibly take this long entry from right here. But it's not going to have enough space. Like it's only about 11 pips, so it's not really worth the move. So I'm not going to take that trade. It's not really worth it. CHF JPY over here. This looks, it looks fine. Let's see if there's anything else over here. Nothing right there. Sorry, I'm checking my chat real quick. I'm checking my emails. Actually, I have a ton of emails over here that I need to figure out. Okay, cool. So from this point right here, nothing there for Euro odd. So right now, guys, I'm just looking for trades. Unfortunately, I missed out on this Euro CAD right here. I think Raj locked in some profits off that. Looks nice. This would probably be a decent sell if it was to close below here. We have about 9 minutes left on this. Mark that right there. Euro GBP right there. We missed out on this trade too. This would have been a nice sell if it closed below. It didn't close below, so that's why we didn't take it. But I think some people did take that trade. Euro NZD. This is the one from yesterday. I think it's still technically active right now, looking decent. Euro USD. I think we're still waiting for this to close below. I always forget how I drew all these stuff on here. So let me go ahead and delete this from there. Yeah, for this right here, we're just waiting for it to close below the structure. It hasn't closed below the structure yet. So no entry on Euro USD. GA over here, this is one that I wouldn't take. I'm probably not going to mess with any of these GBP pairs for a while because they're all dropping pretty heavy, and these could be temporary drops. Like it can be dropping right here. You can see already for GU, it's dropped slightly, but then it has a lower wick right there, right? Looking at these other GBP pairs, they can easily reject off this point right here. So I'm not necessarily going to take any of these trades right here because a lot of these looks like it's news driven, right? It looks like there's something going on that's causing price to move in that direction. You know, for when the impeachment is going on for Trump right now, they're debating that. For two, they have this right here. I guess it's Italy's government in crisis after former prime minister pulls support for ruling coalition. I'm sure this is going to affect the market, you know, completely. I mean, there's a lot of things here that are affecting the market. And that's why I'm making like the choice to just stay out of the market right now, because you don't want to follow like these little spikes in movement. Like for example, here for GA, you don't want to follow this spike. And then as soon as you enter that short position, it ends up shooting up, right? Because it happens all the time. Like sometimes you try to follow these like movements that are news driven, and then all of a sudden they start going the opposite way, like a couple hours later. So I'm going to hold off on taking any of these trades right here. I don't think there's anything else to really look at. I think we have one more question, and then I'm going to be done for the day. So see, ComCon wants me to take a look at EG. I was looking at that earlier, ComCon. So right here, we had the rejection off this point. We had the sell signal right here, and it broke structure. From that point, it ended up pushing down to test this structure right here. Currently where price is at, looks like price is swinging up from this point, which is weird, right? It's weird because all the GBP pairs, these are all bearish, right? This is indicating that the GBP is weak. However, you look at EG over here and it's strong. So it just doesn't make sense like what's going on with the GBP right now, because all of the other GBP pairs are coming down heavily while EG is shooting up like, you know, it's basically just shooting up from that point. So I would probably stay away from EG right now. I would wait for it to break the structure again. So this might be a temporary push up. If this is temporary, this can easily reject off this point and close below here. If that happens from that point, you can insert a short position right here and then ride that down to full TP. But I mean, currently right now, I wouldn't chase this this low bullish move. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the most part. Let me see if there's anything else here in the questions. Before we continue on, Spencer said, if you are new to trading, what platforms would you use and how would you start now with all the tools available to you, looking for advice? I mean, I would have done the same thing I'm doing now, Spencer. I mean, I don't see anything wrong. Like, you know, it's like the saying says, don't fix something that's not broken. So I don't know, like, I mean, it's pretty obvious what I use here, right? I use TradingView and I use the K2 indicators. That's all you really need. I'm not sure like what, I don't know if you're trying to find a different response from me, but obviously I'm going to use what what I'm, you know, what I've been using, what I've continued using so far. Gene Vaughn said, did US30 hit stop loss? No, it hasn't yet. No update. But I'm not going to bother looking at it because it's just going to keep spiking around. So I have no update for US30 right now. It's still running. But yeah, guys, so I think that's about it. I looked at all the pairs here. It doesn't look like there's any entries available right now, especially with all the news going on. Yeah, but other than that, I think we're pretty much done for the day. So I have a bunch of Telegram messages to get to, a bunch of text messages to get to. I have about like, let's see, 40 emails this morning to get to. So I think I'm done right now for this live stream. Hopefully you guys got some help out of this. If you guys haven't already, please like the stream so that we can continue to do this every morning. You know, otherwise I'll probably catch you guys in the Telegram chat, or I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the next live session. Other than that, I think I have some live sessions today. Let me check. So yeah, I actually have a live mentoring session today at 2 p.m. in about a couple hours with Sam K. I have another mentoring session again later today at 5, and then have one last session again today at 6 p.m. So if you guys have liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel, when I go for my live streams later for the one-on-one mentorship, you guys will get an email indicating that I'm going live. So you guys can sit in on those live sessions completely free. And you guys can see exactly how I mentor people one-on-one. So I think that's about it for now. Other than that, I'm going to log off because I have to answer all of these questions, do some admin work on the side. And then I'll be catching you guys later in a few hours if you guys sit in on that mentoring session with Sam. So until then, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this live stream. Otherwise, we'll catch you back here tomorrow for another shot at US 30 and whatever Forex pairs that we catch along the way. So thanks for showing up, guys. I'll catch you guys in a little bit.